McDavid.
Let me say yeah.
Remember that name.
McDavid off a turnover. Walks in. Has a step shot. Glove shot. No, it slips behind Holtby. And that's McDavid's 30th. Finds McDavid. The net is empty. Shoots and scores, and this one's over.
Connor. McDavid. Connor. 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 McDavid. 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 Remember that name. Here is Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid. Smart move. Here is beautiful. Remember that name. That name.
No limits when it comes to this guy. He's simply too fast. Think he can just fly. No limits, so why do you try? He'll score on his own, or he'll give it to dry.
Connor McDavid.
Fans in heaven, cause of 9 to 7. The nation in love from Gibbons to Devon. Looking to pass, team men on the ass. Second contract, a lot of cash. Tick, 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 tack, take your time. McDavid on your team and you'll be fine. Just open your eyes and you will see it. Oil it for real, cause he has no limit.
No. Connor has no limit. No. Connor has no limit.
Remember that name.
Remember that name indeed. Connor McDavid finding the back of the net. Got a little bit of a friendly roll, but he needed it, and he got it. The Edmonton Oilers win. Jeff Jackson's a genius. Noblock will never lose. And as I saw multiple times on Twitter last night, the Oilers are back.
Just like the Woodcroft era, right? 4-1 over the Islanders. This is the exact, it's in lockstep. It's like, you love time travel, right?
I do love time travel.
It's like we're in a loop now, right?
Well, it was very
it?
similar because Knobloch kind of kept the lines rolling, which is what Woody did at the beginning. But it's this sick disease that all the coaches get stuck with where eventually it's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl together and it's 25 minutes a night. But yeah, very, very reminiscent of Jay Woodcroft getting his first win over the New York Islanders as well.
Like we're back.
Yeah. It was a good one because I didn't necessarily think they played great, but they kind of grinded one out here, took advantage of their power plays that they got in the third period. Stuart Skinner was excellent yesterday, and they won a hockey game. Give them 2 in a row. They get Seattle coming up here at home and then embarking on a 4-game road trip in which you really start to get a feel for exactly what's going on there. Loomis is in and says Woody's was a 3-1 win over the Islanders, not a 4-1 win.
It's that Kane Sugar Time goal that really screwed everything up.
Yeah, he worked. He was skated hard to get to that empty net. He really did. You can message us anytime. A couple of ways to do it. one, in the nasty chat on YouTube. And, of course, you can hit us up anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. And we will get to a few of those. The inbox has been rolling here for a little while, since about 5:30 this morning. People have been texting in. This one is in. It says, this song gets my titties moving in the morning. Oil country is back. Like, people are fired up right now.
Over half the catalog we haven't been able to even play this season yet.
know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot to go.
I know. There's pretty much, like, how many times have we played the Good Morning After Show song? I think twice. Maybe 3 times?
You had to
Not
dust.
3 times.
You literally blowed the dust off of it this morning.
Yeah, I had to go find it today. I was like, where is that thing?
Hell.
Paris Jewelers Inbox, local family-owned business, started in Edmonton, has now 22 stores across Canada. Do not pay until 2025 with their flexible financing options. Early Black Friday deals. Who doesn't love Black Friday? Everybody loves Black Friday. And you can do that with our partners over at Paris Jewelers as well. New holiday collection is out too. Portion of the sales from that collection will be donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Canada, which is a super nice thing to do. Nasty chat obviously going as well. We'll get into a few of those as we work our way through this thing this morning. Sailors in it says, I was watching Sports Center and Bo Levi was doing a hit for the Grey Cup at the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum. I was looking for Dusty in the background to see if he was stalking Bo. But no luck.
Man, if you were sitting in one of those bombers with the hats on, like peeking around in the background there.
Bo will be on Grey Cup Saturday with us, though. He's going to pop on there. So,
interesting.
So is Jim Barker.
Where's Suits going to be? In proximity to all this?
Suits will be getting ready to call the Grey Cup abroad.
So he'll be...
I get relegated to secondary panel,
He gets his couple buddies in Marshall and Bo.
Couple buddies,
Marshall and Bo, yeah.
No Glenn, though.
So Suits will be texting you every 10 minutes, hey?
Probably. I mean, Suits, leave me alone. I'm working.
He's still there? Yeah.
It's, how's Grey Cup going? It's going very good, Suits.
What are you doing?
Very good.
No, this is
Who are you with?
This Suits. It's Dusty that's trying to be friends with Suits.
Or
not the
is
other way
it
around.
Suits?
Well,
who's
I
trying
think
to be
now
friends
Suits might
with
be a
me?
little... I mean, now that
Or is
you
that
have...
friendship bracelet changed everything?
I think this Grey Cup in Hamilton will change everything with this whole dynamic. This
do?
threesome that we've been talking about here. This love triangle between the three of you.
This love triangle between Bo Levi
Maybe
Mitchell,
Bo and
who-
Suits emerge from Grey Cup best friends, and then you're coming back. I don't know. I'm just saying. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be a move?
I come back as a lonely boy.
Well, you and Marshall,
wow.
maybe. Maybe you and Marshall, kinda.
Well, Marshall
Kick
and
off
I
a
are doing
friendship.
Grey Cup
Yeah.
Saturday, and we're doing the game together.
And you're
So-
acquaintances, work buddies,
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't
he
say
comes
friends.
on this show
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like. Wow.
Who knows?
I never thought about me being phased out of the threesome.
That's Grey Cup weekend for you. I don't know.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. All right, you can text anytime, 780-218-9998. One of you could end up winning text of the day for A&W, $20 gift card to A&W. Go get yourself some delicious tea in the morning.
Get a brew.
Back on the tea train.
On the tea train.
I did the lattes. It
was a fun week.
Tried that coffee for a day.
Yeah.
But man, tea is just delicious. I like tea because it tastes so damn good.
You don't need the caffeine. You've proven that.
I don't need the
You
caffeine.
prove that every day. And, again, ahead of Grey Cup, I think a tea a day will... I'm sure Jerry Haraxi from Spirit of Edmonton would have that in his, playbook. A few teas, warm up that throat.
I saw
get ready
her
for
actually post a video yesterday, all getting set up and ready to
calm
go.
before the storm.
Spirit of Edmonton at the Grey Cup. Can't wait to pop by there. That should be good. In Bones We Trust. Hey, guys, morning from Winnipeg Sports Talk fans. Oilers going to go on a tear now? That's a great question. In Bones We Trust.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Easy. Have you seen the upcoming schedule?
Well, the schedule, actually, there's some good teams on that schedule.
Yes.
I don't want to be super buzzkill dusty today because we got goal stars to play. Everything's going to be great. They basically beat the Islanders at the Islanders game last night. I thought they kind of let the Islanders dictate that game up until those power plays in the third period. When you're sitting at 1-1, if you're the New York Islanders, I think it's that classic hockey cliche, really nice road game. Really nice road game from the Islanders, right? You got yourself in a spot where and the Islanders suck offensively.
Yeah,
so they need to try to grind out a 2-1 win.
Four straight heading into there that they lost.
Bad penalty that gives the Oilers a power play, and boom, they strike right away. Another power play, Draisaitl guns one up to McDavid, gets the friendly roll over Sorokin's pad, and maybe that's the one that kind of unleashes him a little bit.
They haven't been getting friendly rolls and bounces and such, right?
No, no, exactly. I mean, that was a good example of, and I know some people, I know there's going to be text messages today, and there's people in the nasty chat today who are going to be like, guys, Woodcroft's gone, and McDavid and Draisaitl 6 points. Do you think they were like, okay, we've got rid of them, now we can? No, I don't think that's the case. They got bounces. There was a bounce. The McDavid thing was a bounce. It's not like he scored a beautiful goal. It was one that probably should have been stopped, but managed to bounce over the goaltender's pad and roll into the net. That's just some of the things that weren't happening, over the first 13 games of the season. So we'll see. It wasn't like
it's not like anything should be too highly celebrated. I think that's kind of your point, right?
Yeah.
This is just a game
Yeah,
that
it's
you
one
go and you
game.
beat a bad team that you should be beating.
Well, I mean, you're sitting here and going, I don't think you view that as new coach bump because they had only 14 shots on goal against the New York Islanders through 2 periods. What it is taking advantage of your opportunities, which as a group of players, they hadn't been able to do recently. Like the Hyman goal, I think they were like, what a pass. It wasn't a pass. McDavid was trying to bounce it off Sorokin, but it went over his pad right to Hyman, and Hyman hammered it home because Hyman goes to the front and then it bangs things in. So they've now won 2 in a row. The biggest thing I think coming out of these 2 games in a row is that Stuart Skinner looks like a steady Eddie.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few chances last night. I was listening, I was listening to the game to start Mooner and our good friend and future Nielson Show guest, Bob Stauffer. I was listening on the way home from basketball with Marshall last night, and it was like 19 seconds in, 2 huge saves for Skinner, and then the Islanders score. And I was like, oh, my goodness, what the hell is going on? And then both teams kind of settled in and played a dud. I mean, let's be honest. Through the first 40 minutes of that game, it was a dud. Oilers' power play, which hasn't been able to be the difference, was the difference in the hockey game in the critical moment last night. Does this mean they're going to go on a heater? I don't necessarily know if it means they're going to go on a heater. Their 4 wins have come against bottom 9 teams in the National Hockey League. Now you can only beat who you play. So they've beaten the Islanders are like 23rd in the league. The Kraken are right around there as well. Flames and the Preds. So I'm very interested to see how this team plays against a really good NHL hockey team.
Well, and that's it. And I kind of jested with this road trip coming up. I mean, first the Kraken are in town tomorrow, and that should maybe be, again, a steady pace now. 2 games for Noblock to come in, institute things, albeit slowly. He preached patience as well last night, and I think the second period was indicative of that as well. And the third, where the Oilers have, kind of let things kind of slip away. You mentioned, too, the 2 power plays, you get the goals, and yes, a boring night, a boring game, but these are games that they need to win, and outshot as well. They're usually out shooting teams 2-1 and losing. They get outshot last night by a shot, albeit, but they get again, you beat the teams you play. A win is a win. This is good. I think it's another brick in the confidence castle that they're attempting to build.
I think it probably has to be. And, I thought Skinner made some pretty good point-blank saves along the way, so that was nice to see. But this was a game that was 1-1 in the third that the Oilers don't necessarily always find a way to pull out. It's one that they really wanted to get here, I would think, for Knoblauch and just to put together a first back-to-back win situation of the year. So all in all, I think you have to be relatively pleased with what you saw last night.
Dan Spence, they're beating teams ahead of them in the standings.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Take it as you come.
That's what you have to do right now. Joe Belineski says, I felt the forwards were playing more in the defensive zone last night. They weren't cherry-picking around the blue line center like usual. I mean, maybe. I think a lot of us want to lead into like things that it's like last night. They're like, can you believe the communication on the bench? Well, of course there's going to be communication on the bench. It's the coach's first game. He's probably still trying to get to know everybody. Knoblauch was great. He was all over the bench. Every time they cut to the bench, he was talking to somebody. But I would assume that's the way it's going to be for anybody coaching their very first game. Like, he's got a lot of messages to send to players, and he only had 1 skate to do it. So he's probably passing like he might have been there to Dylan Holloway. Hey, man, I'm coach. Yeah. I'm Coach Chris. Like, go out there, have a good one.
Well, did you see Coffee talking to Cece? I've never seen Manson talk to anybody, right? Like that never happened before.
First game, it's just a lot. To me, there's like a lot of overblown. Oh my God, look at this! It's 1 game. Let's see how it plays out. Positive step in the right direction against the Islanders. We'll see how this go. I would assume they just beat the Kraken. They came out with a great start against the Kraken. I know they didn't have a shot in the third period, but they were sitting back and protecting the lead, which is something you want to see them do. If they can beat Seattle, it's a nice little 3-gamer heading out on a road trip that has some stiff tests along the way. So, yeah.
And again, just building that confidence back up. And Sorokin's no slouch, right? And you there's words trap and goalied.
Yeah.
And neither of which, so that's
neither
again,
of those
a
happened
good
last
step
night.
in the proper direction here.
Both goalies just sucked that puck up last night. Like
a vacuum.
Yeah.
Like an Electrolux.
It was good. It was a nice goaltending performance, I really thought, on both ends. Tough for Sorokin to have that one that McDavid slipped over him, but overall, I thought he was pretty good last night, too. Hey, the Oilers to a 2-game winning streak.
You're going to live with me now. I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you. I love you, Joe. Oh, I love you, Son.
And as Joe Belineski said in the National Chat as well, happy Tombstone Tuesday, friends.
I saw that.
I've got tons of time for that.
I saw that. This is, who is it? Is it Strummy? Yeah, Strummy says, it's just 1 game?
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
Nice.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me. Me saying that the Connor McDavid goal probably should have been stopped.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
Tombstone Tuesday, let's go. Hit us up. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat today as well. Patson says the Islanders aren't that good anyways. Seattle should be another win. Yeah, I mean, with the way if Skinner plays and the team plays the way that they've done the last two, that Seattle game should be one that they would like to come away with back-to-back wins at home.
Fire for Hyman. Hey,
Hyman has been good as of late, I believe.
Hey everyone, I'm Zach Hyman of the Edmonton Oilers.
She's so tenacious.
Hope you guys enjoy it.
Revving up his engine, listen to the crowd just roar. No reason for tension, Zach is gonna shoot and score. Hyman's in the scoring zone. Right into the scoring zone. Signed for 7 years, now he's playing by McDavid's side. He's got you jumping out of your seat cause of that look in his eyes. Hyman's in the scoring zone. He'll take you right into that scoring zone. You know he's gonna score a few. Playing with Connor, it's a top line overload. You'll finally see what he can do. So raise your hands up as high as they can go.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
He always said that was a magician's secret.
And his energy is contagious.
Playing with an edge, that's what you're gonna see. Taking the next step, cause he's no longer with the Leafs. Hyman's in the scoring zone. He'll take you right into that scoring zone.
I didn't think you had it in you. I'm your Huckleberry.
In the scoring zone. He'll take you right into that scoring zone.
Woo! Zach Hyman banging one in the slot on the PP. Gets the job done last night. And Hyman, they say at NBA Jam, he's heating up.
Yeah. On Tombstone Tuesday, nonetheless. Thank you very much, Zach Hyman, for providing that.
Unbelievable. Hey, if you need a conch this morning, let us know why. You can hit us up, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat as well. And, if you want to try to win that text of the day for A and Dub, we could take some of your Tombstone texts. I know you're fired up about the win last night. We can certainly go there as well. Let me lay this bad boy out for you today. 3 hours jam-packed content, and then we got the Hangout coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Maddie, who do you got on the Hangout today?
Dash in the Park will be in.
Okay.
Friend of EST. He's
yes.
with Oilers Live, Heavy Hockey Network. They are the ones that broke the news when it came to
they did.
the changes with the Oilers bench. So he'll be by. And I don't know if it's Tommy will be in. The Oilers practice at noon. We were quickly talking yesterday. We thought maybe 11. And he was thinking
it's a noon practice.
So I don't know if he's in or not. And if not, we'll have you two, Trev and Eric.
Yeah. He should probably be in.
So but I didn't double reconfirm or anything with that. So it's up in the air.
Well, practice isn't until noon, and he has nothing else to do tomorrow. Or today. He should probably be in, I would think.
Yeah, but no one's talked to him about that, like, directly, right?
But it's a work day.
I know. So it's one of those things, like, I guess we'll find out at 9 o'clock.
I would think Tommy's
Well, yeah, no, like, he's
got the dog.
When we're talking, it was 11 o'clock. He's like, I might come in for an hour or something. So, like, he's like, but I'll text you later when, like, because the Oilers, after the game,
so he was going to say he was going to come in for an hour.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
For the 11 o'clock practice, because that could be a little. But then the noon
What's
came.
What's a noon practice, though?
And I was already going to bed, and he didn't reach out to me. And
yeah.
So, again, it's one of those, at 9 o'clock, we'll find out.
Bring the dog.
I like this. So
I don't mind that.
Tommy may.
Dog in the hangout? It's not
Well, the dog in the hangout. The dog's been barking through his entire oil stream of post-game last
I'm not saying the dog in the hangout, but babysitting. Like the dog here. I'm sure everyone else would love to have the dog around here.
But in the podcast studio there.
I would treat that dog like Will Fraser used to treat.
No, we're not going there.
Why don't you shut up when we're trying to do streams?
I'll pay you money if you do that. Just for our selfish.
Fraser used to just verbally abuse Paul Brown's dog. It was quite the rivalry, actually.
But Fraze was like smaller than the dog. You were dwarf this little penny inside. I mean,
A penny looks super cute. Yeah. I mean, it's good. Hey, JCD780 says, did you see Tommy yesterday? He needed some sleep. But he could have got sleep last night. But what do you think Tommy did last night after the game?
Kelly's.
Well, I probably went out for a couple bevies.
I'm just guessing it.
I'm going to say he was home.
Early.
I'm assuming he stayed home. Because what time posts start?
Buddy, that's
9:30?
Yeah.
9:15? So it went till about 10:30 or something?
Things get started, baby.
That's his wheelhouse, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he went to bed. He stayed home, went to bed. I'm calling it.
Okay, I'm going to say he took the doggo for a walk, because he said that on the post-game show, and then dropped her off at home and went out for a couple of
Saw DVD for a cheeky
met
one.
up with DVD,
a cheeky pint.
Just a little one.
Half a pint.
I think that's... well, I can't wait to see this game. Does Tommy show up today? And did he just go to bed last night? We will find out around, I would assume, 8:55 this morning. All right, hit us up in the nasty chat here as well. I guess I didn't actually lay the show up for you. How did I get distracted?
Because you always get distracted by the littlest things.
I didn't even start it. I was going to lay out the show. I didn't even get to the first segment. I guess because we were plugging the Hangout. That must have been the reason why. We do have your morning after show coming up for EM Utility Locating. Good morning after show song on the way as well. Your reaction to this from what you saw last night, problem solved? Or it's one game, relax, calm down. Let's see where it goes from here. We'll get into that. We're going to talk a little bit about that football game last night, I believe. Craig Button is going to join us just after 7 o'clock this morning. We get your Coolbet hotline of the day, which we missed by a goal. That's it last night. One goal. McDavid had his goal. McDavid had 2 points. We had the Oilers in regulation. We needed one more goal. I was hoping that the Islanders would score on that power play, and then it'd be 3-2. They'd have to leave the net empty, and the Oilers would bury one. That sucked.
Mr. Lean's off to 1-0 week, though.
Hey.
What was Mr. Lean on?
Goal. I had the McDavid goal.
Yeah.
I had the McDavid goal.
All right, Mr. Lean,
so
starts hot.
last week wasn't a good week. Last week was a rough week.
Did you go over 5 last week?
No, I think I hit 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I hit 1. I hit the Leon 3.5 shots.
Oh, yes,
over.
that's right. Yes.
So, it was it was the first rough week of all of this. So now, Mr. Lean, I've got 3 Mr. Leans this week. Because then I have to take over the hotline.
On Friday?
Thursday, Friday. I'm taking over the Coolbet hotline of the day.
Are you?
Well, you're not here.
No, but is Tommy in?
Yeah, but they don't do that.
Who knows if Tommy's in?
Well, he didn't really know yesterday. I told him. I said, you're in on Thursday, Friday. He's like, am I? I was like, yeah, no,
We
Dusty's
told him at
gone.
the meeting.
I know.
Oh, boy.
And he's in on Monday.
He also didn't message us about Bo's Own Live.
I know, he didn't text back.
And I told him at the game, like, hey, send this today. He's like, okay. And then he didn't send anything. So I'll have to take that over. And I'm 1-0 on the hotline without you here.
Oh, wow.
Remember, so we got to...
Riding solo.
You got to love the trends.
But so, no. I have to transition from Mr. Lean this week into straight up Coolbet hotline of the day.
Buddy.
It's not a lean on Thursday, Friday I'm going with. They have to be picks.
A lot of pressure.
Oh, boy.
A lot of pressure
I already
there.
know where I'm going on Friday.
You already know?
I already know.
Look at this guy. He's planning 4 days ahead.
Bundesliga action.
We don't even know if Tommy's going to be here today. Unbelievable. Confessions coming up here around 7:30 this morning. Greg Wyshynski, he's busy tomorrow, so he's going to join us for Metal Supermarkets today at 7:50. Boy, Wyshynski must be loving his Stanley Cup pick now. After that win over the Islanders, Noblock is undefeated. So that's good. Kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. Gager will pop by. Gager was wearing a nice shirt on pre and post last night. See that shirt? Looked like $1 million.
I heard it was Le Chateau, if you're wondering.
Really? Is that what they...
That's what he admitted to Tom.
Gager was wearing a Le Chateau
And then they both gushed over the the deals and the fabrics you could have bought in at Le Chateau back in the day. Yeah, they're
Wait a second.
couple Le Chateau guys.
Am I dropping the ball here on Le Chateau? Is that not a female store?
I thought it was too, but I
No, they sold men's
Unisex,
stuff.
yeah.
What?
But it's no longer a store.
No.
No, but like when you walk, like the majority of the store was female, but there'd be the
Near
section.
the back,
It's like an H&M when you walk in. It's massive for the female clothing, but there's the men area. It's men's area to it. Le Chateau was the same thing.
Man, I had no idea.
Honestly, that's what I would expect. Straight up. That's
I
exactly
know,
what I
That's not a Le Chateau.
You're gonna say that right
You're
now.
telling me you didn't get this blue plaid shirt at Le Chateau? Unbelievable. Good morning, fellas. Go Oilers. If we haven't already, can we give a conch to Coach Knob for his first win of his NHL head coaching career? Yeah, that's real nice. That's
Easy
real
guy to cheer for, hey?
Yeah, what'd you
Just
say?
on a human side. It just
I
everything
thought you
else away.
described him very aptly this morning. What'd you say?
Yeah, the father off like a children's cartoon.
Yes.
And getting like a Christmas special. Like, hey, kids, you know, and he's not really given the credits more normally, but he keeps the family together, right? He does all the hard stuff and always a smile on his face, right? A merry disposition.
His hair is very cartoon, like it's every hair is in place. You can see them. Like it's a really nice head of hair.
Yeah,
Tommy
great head of
Gazzola must be just staring at this guy's head of hair, being like, damn it.
Maybe that's what's throwing him off.
I was
here, eh?
supposed to be hair guy in this
Can't
city.
focus.
Anyway.
And did you hear what the team did for him after the game?
Yeah, had his wife on like a FaceTime.
Great touch.
Which is really cool.
After he kind of got emotional, I believe earlier in the day or the day before, talking about leaving his wife from the other side of the country and flying here, and then the team does that. It was a real good moment for him.
That was nice. That was nice to see that they that was Rashog who tweeted that, wasn't it? Yeah, from Got
Just
Your
with
Back
all the
podcast.
negativity going on, that was a nice
Yeah, no,
nice
that was
moment.
that was kind of that's pretty. It's awesome for him, right? Like, I think that's pretty good. 780-218-9999. If you want to chime in there, Oil City Dynasty says Gazzola's dog is becoming an issue. Just saying, he's just house sitting. Penny, right? Is that her name? He's just house sitting her.
You have two young children, but every day he comes in, he's like, "Oh, you guys, the night I had, I'm like, it's a dog." I don't know, but he would have.
I don't think he's going to be able to last much more. His parents, after they move here, are going to come back to pick up Penny. She's going to be gone. Talk to me like, sorry guys, I couldn't handle being responsible for something else. Like, oh, that's too good. That's really good. Strummy says Le Chateau had matching clothes for me and women, or for men and women. I would know because my wife runs my show. Wow.
Okay, well,
so matching outfits.
I never knew.
That's pretty cool.
really smart.
What's really smart?
To have a like to have the men's women's version. So like you complement each other, right? The men and women. That's actually pretty smart for a store.
It's a team dressed like a team.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but even just having it make it look like whatever the men are wearing, the women are. It complements each other.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be dead on the exact matching, but that's a smart clothing idea.
I don't think Tammy wants to wear anything I wear.
I'd love to see you guys. I'm just thinking about this right now. Like, ooh.
Tam rolling around in this shirt.
You guys could wear the Goonies shirt together.
Oh, well, we could wear the Goonies shirt together. That's a really good point. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat as well. Do we have Noblock's postgame? Can you grab Noblock's postgame?
We've got Chris Knoblauch. Noblock.
Are you calling it Knoblauch?
Yeah, there's a CH that you pronounce it? Okay.
Yeah, Knobloch.
Okay, Knoblauch.
Oh, I thought I heard David Amber last night call him Knobloch one time.
That's what that's where I'm confused. But I'm hearing Knoblauch now.
I think it's always been Knobloch.
See, I don't think that's what I heard for the last number of years. I think most people called him Chris Knoblauch, what I heard.
Do you think it's because the CH just doesn't, it's not like, it's Chris Knoblauch, right? You hear it right at the end there.
Maybe Bob just doesn't pronounce things properly.
Stoff calls him Chris Knoblauch?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. But he'd be the only person saying his name ever. So
yeah.
Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, and Derek Ryan. We have all four of those available whenever you want.
All right. Well, we'll get into the Derek Ryan. Interesting, because remember,
he was made post.
Remember, Derek Ryan spoke right after Woodcroft took over and talked about how nice it is to have roles on the team. And then they rolled Derek Ryan out again.
Time loop.
Yesterday.
Time loop.
This is really
Called
weird.
Groundhog Day, right?
Derek Ryan never does post. But they've done it again after a coaching change because he's a veteran. Very interesting. All right, let's get into your morning after show here. Brought to you by EM Utility Locating, GPR and concrete scanning, damage prevention, planning, designing, education, and training. Whatever you need if you're doing anything underground and can't see it, obviously, because it's underground. EM Utility Locating will have you taken care of. Let them plan your job. Let them help you execute your job safely. That's the most important part about it. They actually emailed me the other day about the digging of the hole for a basketball hoop that I eventually want to put in, and how careful you have to be. It was really nice. It was like the closest step I've ever done to planning anything to actually make this thing happen.
Put a little flag on your property.
And Oh man, do these guys have all those little flags?
You know,
they must.
That's when it's happening.
You know somebody's doing a big job when there's
the
those
entire
little
neighborhood's like,
flags on
ooh,
there.
a flag. Ooh, what are they going to be tearing up now?
Look at the Nielsons.
Yes.
They must be digging something with EM Utility Locating.
They're at it again.
So that's real nice. Real nice. All right, your EST big moment that happened. What are you going to go with, Rick?
The McDavid goal, again, puts him up 3-1, power play goal. At that point, you can say, yes, McDavid, back off the shot. Just one of those moments where you, as a fan, I think at the Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge last night as well, a bit of an exhale, right, in that moment. 3-1, McDavid power play. Not much more to say for there. You're answering a lot of questions. You're checking a lot of boxes. They come back in the third. Hyman puts them in front with the 2-1, but McDavid 3-1 puts them in front for good. Of course, Kane with the sugar time, but McDavid's third of the season on the power play to make it 3-1 for the Oilers is my big moment. Plus, the post game where they got the Knoblauch's wife and the TV.
Yeah, that's a cool team building moment for sure. Yeah,
I hate to. Maybe I missed this, but did you not play the intro to this?
Oh, dude.
So sorry,
You spent so
sorry
much time
to try
looking
to
for it.
this is my show, but
Holy smokes!
I feel like you already said you only played it twice, the good one. So
What was that about?
They don't want you.
Why is it not playing? What the hell?
can you skip it a little, like a
It's
couple
not
seconds
allowing
in?
me to play. I'm playing it straight out
Just
of the
the twang.
Nasty Club.
Are you a member?
There we go.
There's something happening here. The Oilers look a lot better this year. Another win, put 2 points on the board. Telling me your faith is restored. I think it's time you stop. Listen, here we go. Wake up with the morning after show. This year's team's looking strong. Connor and Leon, they can't do no wrong. 6 o'clockers are losing their minds. Getting so many messages on the text line. Think it's time you stop. Listen, here we go. Wake up with the morning after show.
Good looking out, Mr. Lee. We had to hit that. Had to get that in today.
It's a big moment.
Well, yeah, we had to do it. We got into the big moment. You know what I think the big moment was the Hyman power play goal. Like, they got the power play. They wasted no time with the power play, right? Everybody got a touch. Draisaitl one-timer, missed it off the end boards. McDavid tries to flip it off Sorokin, misses him, but it goes right to Hyman. Hyman puts it in the back of the net. And at that point, and I know this is a crazy thing to say, considering the season that we've seen from the Edmonton Oilers so far, but when Hyman banged that in and the Islanders' overall lack of offensive abilities, I did say, and it was being risky at the time, but I was like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. They got the power play goal. That's it. That was going to be the difference. That was a classic generic hockey next goal wins moment in that third period, and they got the goal with Zach Hyman. So that'll be my EST big moment that happened. We'll get to the coach. We'll hear from Noblock, but let's rip through the rest of the morning after show here first. Super stat of the night. What are you going with, buddy?
970.
970. 970. 970. 9. Stewie Skins. Say his name. Say his name. 970 is nice.
It's great.
970 is real nice.
Usually we're talking eights. Eight something or other, and I mean, it doesn't make it to the super stats. So, yeah, 970. It's tough to ignore last night. You can look at Draisaitl's point night as well. I mean, Hyman with another goal, but Stuart Skinner's save percentage, 970, super stat of the night.
I mean, there's a couple of things that sort of jump off the page for you here. One of them would be special teams. Now, there was a couple of those weak power plays, and there was like 3 seconds or whatever, which was a pretty tic-tac call after a weird play by Draisaitl to cross-check somebody in the back of the knees. But the Oilers went 2 for 3 on the power play, and they went 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. So, I mean, if you win that special teams battle every single game, you're going to win games. The other thing that clearly stands out from Superstat, and people were obviously pointing it out last night, no forward on this team played more than 20 minutes last night. The fourth line actually got in about 7.5 minutes. Holloway obviously got banged up, had to leave this game, but McDavid played 19:31. Draisaitl played 18:59. Now, this wasn't a huge power play game. Like, the one power play that they had was nothing. The next one they scored on extremely quickly. So, I'm sure McDavid and Draisaitl, if you're going to end up with 4 or 5 power plays in a game, are going to be up around 21, 22 minutes a night. But last night they didn't have to do it. There was a couple of spots like in defensive zone. I was just listening to the game and I was like, oh, Mooner, that can't be right. Because they had like the fourth line out there in a defensive zone start. And I was just like, come on, that can't be the right line. But yeah, so there was some usage of players last night that you could tell that there had been a coaching change. And we'll see if that continues. 3 stars of the game last night: Leon Draisaitl, Stuart Skinner, and Connor McDavid with a goal and assist. Draisaitl goal and 3 assists. We haven't got to his goal song yet, but we will here in the 6 o'clock hour. Who's your 4th star of the game?
I'll go with one Zachary Hyman again, getting a goal, to which you said the big moment to put him up for a good 2-1. And again, 4-2 for Zach Hyman. So I know McDavid and Draisaitl last night putting some points together, but during the slump or slide for them, it's nice to see Zach Hyman. And now 8? Yes, 8 goals on the season for one Zachary Hyman. So another one last night. I'll give him your 4th star of the game.
Man, I don't even know where to go for
Steady Eddie.
Well, we'll get to the steady of the evening. I'm just thinking 38 star of the game. Like, it wasn't a thrilling game by any stretch of the imagination, but it also wasn't a game where you want to pick out a bunch of players on either side, really. And was it Wahlstrom who took the penalty? Who took the penalty? Oh, Holmstrom.
Holmstrom.
I'll go with Holmstrom.
The trip.
Took the trip that led to the power play, played 14 minutes, didn't have a hit, didn't have a shot on goal, didn't have a point, and took a penalty that kind of led to the biggest moment in the game. So let's go with Holmstrom on that one. Your steady Eddie of the evening for EM Utility Locating. Once again, you can visit them at emutilitylocating.com. You got a big project coming up. You got to go underground, whether it's at work, it's at home. These guys will take you care of. Matt and his crew over there will have it all handled for you. Planning, design, education, and training. The damage prevention, which I guess ties into the planning, design, education, and training. All you can find at emutilitylocating.com. Steady Eddie of the evening. I have one that I think people might be a little surprised by, but what were you going to say?
Is it on the blue line?
It is on the blue line.
I guessed right. I will leave the rest up to you.
I think it's Evan Bouchard.
Yes.
I think it's Evan Bouchard.
We haven't said his name. You haven't mentioned his name at all.
Yes.
It's just perfect. 21 minutes ice time.
21 steady minutes of ice time for Evan Bouchard last night makes him your rare steady Eddie of the evening winner.
He's been made an example, and rightfully so. But if that turns around, right, one individual example last night of steadying things out and not making mistakes, and it's nice to see just zeros along that board instead of dash here, dash there, or whatever it is. But I like that one.
Yeah,
I was thinking you might go that
steady
direction.
Of the evening, Evan Bouchard. Yeah, I also like when he does anything that makes him talk about how good he is at basketball. That was cool when he jumped up. And in the end, I mean, he didn't jump that high off the ice because you can't jump that high off the ice. But it looked like he was Michael Jordan jumping from slightly inside the free throw line. But he goes up, he gets it, brings it down, threw it out to McDavid. He didn't score in the play. But I thought Bouchard, his decision making was on point last night. Didn't put himself in any bad spots. Stepped up at the right moments to make a play.
Yeah.
Steady Eddie.
Not too greedy.
Steady Eddie of the evening.
Probably talk Koff a few things as well on the bench, hey? Given his elder years over Paul Coffey and the age of Evan Bouchard, right?
To me, it looks like Noblock has elevated Ekholm to an assistant coach to work with the Blue Liners. Like, him and Bouchard were talking all night last night.
Fair enough.
Unless they were just finally giving us shots of it. Like on the broadcast, they just went like, we don't need to show that. Oh, actually, new coach, let's show this.
We're seeing all the things that happened before anyway.
Those broadcasters, man, they can dictate so much that you see on these
theater of the mind.
These games. Yeah. Chris Knoblauch. Let's get to a little bit of post-game. Chris Knoblauch gets his first NHL head coaching victory. Congratulations to him. By the way, as we watch this, come up with a better nickname than this garlic thing. We're not going with that.
Well, somebody suggested Coach K at the inbox this
Oh,
morning. And I know
Coach
that would
K.
resonate with the two of you here. Special place in your hearts.
But not garlic. That's just his last name translated. No, he's not Garlic Man. We got to come up with something better as a city. I'm going to need a bunch of handles for Tales of the North tomorrow so you can get those bad boys rolling in. But here is Coach K after the win.
But it is a bit about you tonight. Just a thought on, your first NHL where this is, your team and finding a way to overcome that start to get the win.
It feels amazing to get that first win. Being a head coach was a highlight. Just being here, and obviously it gets much better when you win. But I liked how our team played. It wasn't a perfect game, and I think we weren't the better team in the first half of the game. I liked how we stayed patient. We just stayed the course. We didn't do any unnecessary risks. There's definitely things that we need to tighten up and play better at. But again, I think the most important thing is we didn't get desperate where things weren't going well, and we tried low percentage plays.
How does this work again? There we go. What did you say to Leon Draisaitl before the morning skate today? I'm going to assume that's between you and Leon, but is it something you're going to do on a continuous basis every morning skate based on that performance today?
Yeah, if he wants to talk to me, I like him. We had a good conversation. He's got a lot of insight, so if that's what it takes for him to play like that. But today, obviously, being my first time on the ice with the guys, I got around almost everybody, and I think it's important for me to get to know these guys and for them to get to know me. And, I don't like to spread my messages to my players through media, through these interviews, and say so-and-so needs to play better. And that's something I like to talk to them and just, hey, just really quick, this is what I see, this is what I need, and probably get their insight on how the team's playing. I don't know, but I just really want to get to know the players.
Can you give us a sense for, because this is such a quick turnaround, there's only so much you're going to try and implement, like how many times through the day do you address the team? How much do you actually try and put in place today? What was your approach to today?
Well, today we had a meeting. Usually there's special teams meetings in the mornings, and we did do that. But before we did our power play meeting, I addressed the team. Talked to what my expectations were, and we talked about some system stuff, breakouts, defensive zone, nothing major, just little changes, and my message of how I wanted the team to play, and that was about it. And then during the game, talking between periods, we do a pre-scout, and then right before we hit the ice, I might say a few words then too.
It seemed like through that second period, the temptation might have been there to tinker because it wasn't necessarily going well, and it's but you held your lines basically through the majority of that game. Did you feel like the formula was there, and you were just knowing being patient was going to get it there?
No, I didn't know that it was going to get us there. But I do believe that we need some stability. Players need to have their role. I loved McLeod's game. I see a lot there. And, Fogle I know has been playing up, and he can play on those top two lines, but I think it's really important that McLeod and Fogle create some chemistry. Unfortunately, Hollowell left during the game. Ryan stepped up and played really well in that position. I don't want to be moving guys around all the time. Things aren't going well. Well, it's because the lines aren't what they should be, and we're going to move somebody else. Ultimately, you're blaming somebody else because we're not taking ice time or situations hardly against Leo and Davo, and so like I said, I just think it's important that stability is important.
Do you have any update for us on Dylan Holloway?
Well, obviously he didn't finish the game. I haven't talked to the medical staff, and I'll find out more probably tonight, and certainly, if not tonight, tomorrow.
Hey, Chris. Just wondering, did you get the game puck? Where is it going, and what does it mean for you to be able to get this first NHL win?
I did get the game puck. It felt incredible. It's going to be a souvenir. I had a game puck on my desk before the game started, and I was like, oh, I've only got one, and I've got 2 kids. And then we won, and I got 2, so now we can make everyone happy, and maybe I want to tell them which one's the game puck and one's the souvenir puck. And then after the game, they did something really special. They had on the video on the TV, they presented the puck, and they had my wife on the TV just saying a few words, and that was very nice of them to do.
How the players had mentioned Zach Hyman was kind of chuckling like, hey, I can't really comment. I just met him today, and it'll take some time. You talked about how you want to get through each player, Chris. You have a game like this. Can you kind of maybe give us a sense of what happens in the next few days, and is there a percentage of the system you want to implement each game? Like, what's a realistic number as you look to improve and install different things over the course of the next month or 2 months?
Yeah, it's going to be slow. I'm not sure how much we're going to change, and it's difficult. In the American League, in junior hockey, if you want to change, it's easy. You might have Monday to Thursday to practice, sometimes 3-4 days, and then play on the weekend. So you can say, today we're going to be doing defensive zone, and you can do all the defensive zone drills to change and make that happen. And then the next day you can move on to the next thing. And then it's so easy. Here it's a little bit different because you're playing every second day. You're only practicing maybe, 20 to 30, maybe 40 minutes, depending on how that practice is going to go. So really it's difficult to do that. So really to answer your question, I'm not sure because it's been such a whirlwind, and I haven't really dove into our schedule to say we can do this here, we can do this day, and I don't know, I guess we'll be taking some time. I think we have a little more time, when we go on that road trip. We got 2 days off between games. We'll probably address some more things then.
All right, there you go. That is Chris Noblock, not willing to give a percentage of the amount of the system he's going to put in place here in the immediate future. But a real nice chat there. He seemed very happy to pick up his first win. People in the nasty chat this morning are saying, so he can lie to his kids, but just don't lie to us.
We picked that one up, hey, didn't we? Yeah.
Look, I've got small kids. It's not lying to them if they don't even understand what's going on.
Was it called a white lie? Is that
just a little white lie. Like some lies are okay. Some lies are good to make, depending on the situation. So somebody else texted in and says, does Coach K not look a little bit like Lloyd Braun from
There have been a few comparisons, and people texted in. Judge Reinhold was another one.
Lloyd Braun hits
strong. Yeah.
If they go on like a 4 or 5 game losing streak and he comes up and he's giving a bunch of Serenity Nows, that would be insane. Serenity now. Insanity later. That would be amazing. Is he a full-blown silver fox? Like, I have a hard time telling when I'm looking at him on these. Does he have gray hair, or is it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. To me, I don't know. Maybe it's my eyes. Maybe I don't know. You think so?
Now I never really noticed it before, but maybe it's a darker.
It's like. His hair color messes with me.
It's like the dress challenge all over again, hey? I'm seeing blue.
Yeah, exactly. It's that same thing. For some reason, I think Calvin C. Hoochie Mama! Hoochie Mama! There's something there. I mean, we could definitely do something on that front. Somebody texted in when I said, I like on the broadcast when they talk about how Bouchard can hoop. I was a little bit of a baller. And somebody sent in this basketball text about Bouchard. He goes, fun fact, Evan Bouchard was the first basketball player to suggest they cut out the bottom of the apple baskets. That's pretty good. As well, I saw a bunch of people kind of throwing in, what do you think? We call him Chuck because of Knoblauch. I don't know about that. Oh, let's see. He nobbles. Sitcom Daddy, Special K. You know, if he goes on a run here, Special K is not a bad nickname.
I love Special K.
All of these suggestions are better than garlic.
What about 2K? Because it's
garlic.
2J, 2K, 2J, 2K,
2K, KK,
2K, JJ, and the KK, 2K.
Yeah, there's lots of different places.
Sounds cool. You know.
Yeah, they all sound pretty neat, I guess. If you want to go
Put him a nickname,
that way. Hey, Leon Draisaitl, how about that pass to Connor McDavid last night? A little bit of zip on that sauce, I would think. Also got himself going. It's funny because in the first intermission on Sportsnet, they were breaking down how they didn't necessarily love his start to the game. But then he got that goal, and he kind of really got things going after that. Leon Draisaitl goal song for you adults and children out there today.
Try, 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 try. Try, 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 try. Leon scored a goal tonight. Watching him play is quite a sight. You know this song is tight. Oilers fans, come on. You loved him endlessly since he was drafted number 3. He's a center with a size that was born in Cologne. Try to stop him, you can't do much more. That ain't no lie. You just wanna see him shoot and score. It was try, 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 try. Gonna make a fool out of you. Probably score a goal and assist on 2. You can't stop him, and that ain't no lie. Cause it's try, 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 try. Don't even try to play him rough. Leon is a German, so you know he's tough. His hands are crazy and Aikens loves his eyes. Yeah, it's try, 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 try. Gonna make a fool out of you. Probably score a goal and assist on 2. You can't stop him, and that ain't no lie. Cause it's try, 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 try. Don't even try to play him rough. Leon is a German, so you know he's tough. His hands are crazy and Aikens loves his eyes. Yeah, it's try, 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 try.
What a day. Man, the show's been back for 2 months? And we haven't really had a good goal song day where you just got to bang out, like 3 or 4 of them in 1 hour.
We were so used to at the old place having the full hour.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to be told to stop. There'd be people coming into the room, stop. You have to stop this now. You have to do regular programming. It's nice.
Jen is in and says, my husband, see how she capitalizes, my husband thinks that Knobs looks like George McFly. Yeah, no, that's not a bad comparison either, actually. That's a good one, too. There's a lot. Lloyd Braun, George McFly. I mean, there's a lot of good ones that kind of kick around there. I think it'll lead to some pretty good bits, some pretty good names for Tales of the North here coming up as well. Tate says, my density has popped me to you. Do you even get that reference? I love that reference. That's in the cafe. Oh, it's too good. Too good. I like that one. Belineski says 67 likes in the first hour. At this pace, we aren't hitting 200 likes. Well, let's crank it up a notch then.
Yeah, the real story today. Yeah.
So you were around yesterday when I was playing that 6 o'clocker song that was created for us by Jaunty in Victoria. Maddie, I don't think we brought you into the loop on this. So Jaunty in Victoria puts together.
Sound like he was on some Special K as well when
making
this.
Yeah. He put together this song for 6 o'clockers and sent it over to us. And I missed it for a couple days. I finally got around to it yesterday. This is quite the scene. I mean, I don't know exactly what we do with this, where we fit it. It's basically it's called the 6 o'clocker check-in song. And Jaunty has taken this thing to another level. I mean, if you're on drugs, you're going to enjoy it. If you're not, it's probably going to feel like you are. But listen to this. This is put together by one of our listeners for the 6 o'clockers. Here we go. Coolbet Red Hot Nielson Show. I love it. God. I think it's like a music bed the rest of the way. It goes
20
on
minutes.
and on.
Yeah,
Which then we can just like throw a bunch of clips over and stuff. So how about that?
6 o'clocker, tailor-made. I mean, that's
You
can listen to that in any hour during the rest of the day except this one.
That
it's maniacal.
That Daddy Likes really hit home right there. Like you're thinking like, oh, where he goes next. And then there's a perfectly timed Daddy Likes. So look, if you are a musician or you have a band or I'm assuming Jonty's sort of just made this in some sort of music program.
Yeah, if you have a soundboard in your basement. And
you want to create something for the show, feel free to send it over, man. Because, we're not, we don't, well, although we do have a house band now. Waylon the Wolf has provided us with a bunch of their music that we can hit, actually, as we work our way through the show. I've got some of it actually loaded in today, so we can get to that. But, man, that's just...
It's going quite well, the Paris Jewelers inbox.
Is the Paris Jewelers inbox loving it?
I
know
it's
the
a mixed
nasty
bag
chat's
of reaction.
just like...
Wow, that's a real toe tapper comes in from Buck. Yeah, it's something. If you haven't been up all night and heard this song, you are wondering where you woke up.
Yeah.
It's one of those things as well. It's kind of got that big band feel to it.
Best thing I've ever heard in my life, the 6 o'clocker song.
Sounds like an FM song you'd vote them not to play again, which is exactly what the angle we're looking for.
You've come to the wrong place for that. I want to hear it one more time to wrap up the 6 o'clock hour. I mean, how do we not? Let's bring it back to the beginning here.
That build up, eh?
Yeah. That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's not static AM radio. It's the Coolbet Red Hot Nielson Show.
Like the best part about this is that like that is only a minute and 10 seconds. That's perfect, right? We don't need 3, 4, 5 minutes. A minute and 10 seconds absolutely hits.
I'm fine with it going underneath the entire hour. Perhaps Tommy and I do that while you're away in Hamilton.
The entire time just underneath it.
Somebody texts in, love it. Disco acid with a little Tom Jones style. Maybe that's the,
there's a
genre
lot
we're
going on
looking
there.
for.
I love to imagine Jonty and Victoria like in his lab, putting this together and like doing all the different parts himself and mixing them together. That's that's well done.
Something.
That's extremely well done. I absolutely love it. Your reaction, 780-2. I think we got our sound of the day. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. We do have Craig Button coming up. Fun 6 o'clock hour, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. Edmonton Oilers, back-to-back. Are they fixed? We'll find out what Craig Button thinks of the entire situation. This should be interesting. Button is going to join us coming up just after 7 o'clock for Pro-Am Sports. But first, let's get into a sports rewind with Lieutenant Eric here on a Tuesday morning.
Edmonton Oilers bouncing the Islanders 4-1, giving Chris Knoblauch his first win as an NHL head coach. Draisaitl, Hyman, McDavid, and Kane all scoring for the Oil, while Stuart Skinner saving 32 of 33 shots faced. The Oilers will host the Kraken tomorrow before heading out on an East Coast swing. Just one other game last night saw the Avalanche ease past the Kraken 5-1. Buffalo Bills fall to 5-5 as they suffer a home defeat at the hands of the Broncos. Kicker Will Lutz would get a do-over, kicking a 36-yarder as time expired to give Denver its third straight win, 24-22 your final. The Broncos improving to 4-5. You can join me Thursday at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, and the Bengals visit the Ravens. It'll be your second last chance to qualify into a draw for a trip for two to LA to catch the Rams and Browns. Pascal Siakam with the season-high 39 points. Raptors overcame a 21-point deficit in a 111-107 win over the Wizards. Raps will get set to host the Bucks tomorrow as 10 games will dot the schedule tonight as group stage action from the in-season tournament will continue. Sports Rewind, brought to you by Universal Rewind, reminding you that regular motor maintenance will prevent costly downtime. Contact them today, learn more about their motor maintenance services. Choose experience, expertise, and quality. Choose Universal Rewind.
I've got something under my skin.
NHL analyst Craig Button, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports on Edmonton Sports Talk.
It's my original sin. The poison that I crave. Come along for the ride. I'd make you feel better. Cut the rope that I tied, but then I broke my skin again. You got me fiending for that first high. Not the same. You got me stealing, killing, I die just to feel you in my veins.
Woo, 7:01 on a Tuesday morning. Whale and the Wolf for you. I mean, your brother's in the band. You guys are buddies with him. We're buddies with him.
Certified banger, that
yeah,
one is.
It's nice. They basically said, feel free to use our music. Right, Maddie? We're not going to get in trouble here? Like,
Yeah. Oh, we're friends. It's not just with Luke. It's the whole band.
Yeah.
You know, we're friends with all of them. Raimai, the singer.
Some more than
Joel,
others. That drummer is
they're
a
huge,
real.
They're huge
Joel,
EST guys. And we're huge Whale and the Wolf
Brandon,
guys.
Keenan.
Yeah.
Great band.
Local music, right?
And they've now given us their entire library, both full songs plus also just instrumental. That if we just want to play the
Yeah, we can do
instrumentals and do
instrumentals
stuff
too.
over top of that, we can. So the official house band of Edmonton Sports Talk, it is Whale and the Wolf.
We made it.
It's official.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't really
It was
want
a- it was
we
on a-
wouldn't- I was going to say, we really wouldn't want to partner with anybody else.
No, but we also knew that this was the case. Like when we launched, we're always going to play their
Yeah,
stuff
we're always
too.
gonna play
But in
their
the end, Ryan and I had a nice little chat last week, and it's
Yeah,
it's
it's great.
official.
I mean, that song absolutely slaps. Love it. So check them out, Whale and the Wolf. You will like everything else they're bringing to the table as well. Coolbet hotline of the day coming up as Mr. Lean looks to continue to be red hot. So we'll get to that as we work our way through the second hour of the show today. Greg Wyshynski's going to pop by around 7:50 this morning. We got weekly confessions coming up for Spectrum Rental. We will get into that as well. And, of course, more of your reaction to the Edmonton Oilers being fixed, or at least got the win last night against the New York Islanders. And as always, all of our hockey insiders brought to you by our great partners over at Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned fan gear and fan cave specialists. When they say specialists, they mean specialists. They got you taken care of. A few experts up in there over at Pro-Am, located on St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of Yellowhead, or online at proamsports.ca. And like you, they are fans too. Everybody's going to be in a great mood at Pro-Am today. People are going to be buying Oilers swag again because Chris Knobloch has saved the season. All right, Craig Button joins us right now here on the Nielson Show. Mr. Button, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good morning to you both. I'm doing well. How are you? It's a lot different than last Tuesday, I'll tell you.
Yeah, slightly different. Things were off the rails over the weekend, and on yesterday's show, everybody was fired up. They make the coaching change. And let's start there, Craig. We'll obviously get into last night's game, but what are your thoughts on how this was handled? Jay Woodcroft being ousted after 13 games, and Chris Knobloch getting the call-up from the Rangers American League affiliate.
Well, we talked last week that the hot seat, the coaching hot seat was flaming hot, and that Jay probably didn't want to look to sit there. And you lose in San Jose. I mean, we all saw the clip of him and Dave Manson walking off the ice, and obviously things were well in motion. When they went into Seattle, and it didn't matter if they won that game or lost it. They were making a coaching change. So. When you start off at like the Oilers did, and in the areas like their defensive play, no accountability. Well, I shouldn't say no accountability, but a lack of accountability. And coaches have to find solutions. And when you can't find those solutions, and keep in mind, the manager's talking to the coach every day, and you're trying to help the coaching group find answers. And it became evident to management that certainly Jay was not able to find the answers to what ailed the Edmonton Oilers, and that's when change ensues. And I really believe that that coaches never lose, for the most part. They don't lose their jobs because of lack of X's and O's. They lose their jobs because they can't find solutions to the problems. They don't deal with the problems, and I think that's what happened with Jay.
Yeah, because it's a really good point on not finding solutions to the problems. And could we say that the problems were really overwhelming because they couldn't get a save, they couldn't defend properly, and then the one thing that really stood out during his tenure here over the last 13 games, last year it was fine, but this team couldn't score goals through the first 13 games of the season, Craig, and that's the one that really kind of baffled me.
Okay, so, but was anybody worried about the goal scoring? I don't think anybody was there was too much talent there. Like if I'm looking at it from the outside in, and I'm the manager, I'm going, wait a sec, I'm not worried about the goal scoring. What I'm worried about is all the rush chances we're giving away, all the poor defensive play, the poor timing of our plays. I go back to that 3-2 game that they're playing, and Darnell Nurse, makes just not Evan Bouchard, not Darnell, makes just an absolute blunder.
Yeah,
and. Jay is like, well, I can't sit him down. Well, it wasn't the first time that this had happened. It had been going on and on and on. Like, when you know what your strength is, and you're going, wait a second here, we'll score. And you analytics, and you look at the numbers, you go, okay, we're doing the right things offensively. Okay, we're not scoring. But we're not doing anything right in other areas of the game. And that's where I know what you're saying. And the rush chances against, there were some grade A chances against the goaltenders. And yes, you need a save, and yes, you can look at the save percentage, but you look at how the Oilers were defending, and not just defending in their own zone, but defending against the rush. It was terrible. And those are the solutions a coach has to find answers to, and he didn't.
Craig, just over the past 2 games, and I go back to the win in Seattle as well, and one individual that people were kind of worried about was Stuart Skinner and just the goaltending as a whole. What have you seen over the past 2 games, and coaching change aside? Is it more of a defensive kind of coming together and eliminating spots where the goaltender might be in a spot about, or is it just Stuart Skinner maybe finding his game now? Campbell's down to the AHL, Pickard's up. Is it one of those theories where, well, you let Stuart ride with this thing? Is he taking the reins? What do you see more? Is it more goaltender, more defense, or somewhere in the middle?
Might be all of the above, Eric. And I think your points about the goaltender being, exposed to those high danger chances and the rush chances. When you're chasing back on rush chances and opponents are able to make lateral plays, you're putting your goaltender in a tough spot. Had Stuart Skinner played as well as we saw him play last year? No, he hadn't. So that's part of it too. I'm going to go back to Jay again. I think he made a massive blunder by naming Jack Campbell as starting goaltender at the beginning of the season. I think that affected the team. On 2 exhibition games, you're going to take Jack Campbell and say, you're my starter after what Stuart Skinner did last year? I think that was a massive error. And I said it at the time. I didn't get it. I said it Jack Campbell has shown unequivocally that he's consistently inconsistent. And I think getting him out of there was a huge part of another huge part of the solution. And then, you find your way defensively. You're not giving up as much. Certainly Saturday against Seattle was a start in the right direction. Last night, and the first 2 periods, the Edmonton Oilers were forced into a game that I think was important for them to be forced in.
Yes, you're right.
Because the Islanders are tight, right?
Yeah.
And so, if you want to try to open it up, the Islanders might have been the perfect tonic. And even Seattle, who are really a fast skating team and a rush team, it kind of gets the attention, Eric, to your point that the players coming together and whatnot. So I think that all those things together, not only led to changes behind the bench, but also led to changes in the outcomes of the last 2 games. And listen, I think Stuart Skinner's a good goaltender. Just because a goaltender struggles a little bit doesn't mean he's not any good. But when the team in front of you is struggling as well, then the problem gets exacerbated. You can't protect. And then the other problem is Jack Campbell couldn't help him out. And Dustin, I don't know if you're gonna, but I think this is clearly now Jeff Jackson's team. I think the decisions that have been made here in the last days have clearly shown Jeff Jackson.
Back over. All right, Craig, you got us again?
Okay, we're back.
Okay, we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
Good. Because I wanted, you make a good point on it being Jeff Jackson's team because, we were kind of looking at it. I think it was Rashad that brought it up yesterday that, Ken Holland's usually remained very patient with coaches. It seemed very bizarre for him to make a call 13 games into a season on the coach. Is that kind of where you look at it from Jeff Jackson's team? Is that the main driving point here that they did decide to make a decision at this point of the year?
Who signed Jack Campbell? Wasn't Jeff Jackson.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And when Jack Campbell's being sent down to the minors, that's not Kenny Holland's. That's Jeff Jackson. Like, there was dominoes that fell here. And, Kenny did make a change to bring in Jay Woodcroft a couple of years ago. Not this early in the season, but at a point in the season. And Kenny said something had to happen. And, he made that change. And Jay's record was solid. Jay deserves credit. This isn't about is Jay competent or is it? But there came a point in time here for the Edmonton Oilers where the performance was not being affected in a positive way by the coaching, so it changed. But I think it started with Jack Campbell, and it finished now with the hiring of Chris Knoblauch. So I think it's clearly. And Kenny's at the end of the last year of his contract. He's a Hall of Famer. Jeff's going to lean on him. He's going to turn to him and thing. But Jeff was brought in to run the hockey. He's put his stamp on it now.
What about the position that Chris Knoblauch finds himself in? Like, there's not a lot of room for error if they want to get back in this. But at the same time, you can't be any worse than you've been through the first 13 games. So is there a lot of pressure on him right now, or is it like this is the new guy? Let's see if he can salvage the season. Anything they get is gravy. How do you approach the position he's in?
Well, I think that when you made the decision this early in the season, and you're looking at your team, just as I was saying earlier to Eric's question about the goal scoring, you can't be worried about the goal scoring because everything was showing you that the process was good. So as long as your process is good, but you also look at the Western Conference. There was opportunity for the Oilers to jump back into it. Whether they can or they can't, we'll wait and see. But it wasn't like, it was running away from them where you're kind of looking down the road. Something had to happen immediately, and it did. When I look at the Edmonton Oilers and specifically now Chris Knoblauch, you come into the situation. Coaches put a lot of pressure on themselves to get the team performing to the best of their capabilities. And Chris is going to be no different than any other coach. But I do believe there's runway here for the Oilers to get themselves back into the playoff conversation. And that's the goal here right now. If this would have happened, if they were, let's say they were 8 games under 500 in December, I would say, yeah, you know what? It's whatever happens. Let's start seeing what we can do, build for next year. But there's enough games left, and it's daunting. Make no mistake about it. The numbers will tell you that. But Chris Knoblauch comes in, and I think a couple things with Chris. I mean, when he took over for a coach, Robbie Ftorek in Erie, where Connor McDavid. Chris wasn't Connor's first coach in Erie. Robbie Ftorek was. And he went in there and he really got that team pointed in the right direction and got them playing to a really good high standard. And I think that Chris is a deserving coach for this opportunity. I think he's a really good coach. He knows what he has offensively, and I think he'll really be a positive influence on the defensive side of things and ultimately helping the team find a way to get a lot more wins than losses.
And we've talked about Chris Knoblauch, Craig, but just quickly your thoughts on one Paul Coffey. I know optically around this market, whenever he's mentioned or brought in any sort of way or term, people obviously go to, old boys club, old guys. But all that aside, we spoke about Evan Bouchard, albeit briefly this morning, and that's considered a good thing over the young season that he's had. So what do you expect from Coffey? I know this is probably just an interim position till they ride it out till the end of the season type of thing maybe, and then Chris brings in his guy or whatever the plan is there. But what do you expect kind of from Paul Coffey again into the scene, this time behind the bench, and how he's going to help that blue line or settle things down, or just what do you expect from his appointment there as well?
Well, I think that you have to look at that in the whole. Mark Stewart is still there, and I think Mark Stewart's sharp. Glenn Gulletson is still there, and so you not only brought in Chris and you brought in Paul, but you've left two people there in place that have experience, that have knowledge of what's going on there, and I think that benefits. Paul has a very keen eye for the game. When you consider the fact that what he did as a player, he can relate to where the players are at. I think one of the big things bringing in Paul Coffey that I look at it this way, the Edmonton Oilers, when Paul was playing, were a great offensive team. They were a great offensive team, and they had to become a better defensive team. And Paul understands that from a playing perspective and having gone through it in the success. Similar things happened to him in Pittsburgh, too. The Pittsburgh Penguins were a really good offensive team that had to become a better defensive team. So, having somebody that's gone through that experience and saying, we're not going to take away your offense, but this is where we have to start to focus in on some areas. Paul was a great offensive player. He was phenomenal. But, when you're trying to be clean, and I thought that the Edmonton Oilers in the game last night, they were really clean in terms of stepping up and moving the puck so they didn't have to defend more. And that's where good teams really take those next steps. And Paul with the Oilers, Paul with the Pittsburgh Penguins, he went through that transformation. So I think he's got a keen eye. He's been paying attention. Yeah, it hasn't been from behind the bench, but I think that when you can add those types of perspectives, and keep in mind, he doesn't have to come in there and do it all himself. That's why I wanted to bring up Mark and also, Glenn on the other side, on the offensive side.
Craig Button with us on the show today. Noblock was asked last night post-game, how quickly can he put his system in place? And not that systems are very different from coach to coach, but how long does it take to make an impact on your club, Craig? I mean, from what you've seen in the National Hockey League, to put that staple on the team type of thing.
Yeah, what I think is important is that Chris, gets a feel for the players. And, I think it's not so much the systems. The players are sharp. They're smart. An adjustment here. We talk about in-game adjustments. And coaches have to be sharp in terms of, okay, they're doing this, we better make – and the players can adapt pretty good. I think understanding his playing group, what kind of coaching do they need? And where's their need for a prod? Where's their need for a poke? Where's their need for a pat? All those things that go in with coaching, knowing your players. I think that's the hardest thing for a coach. I think the players, when a coaching change happens, and Leon Draisaitl talked about it, it gets your attention. The players' attention, it's heightened now. So if Chris Knoblauch comes in and says, listen, we're going to play in our defensive zone with our sticks turned over, the players they might raise an eyebrow in their heads, but the change has got their attention. And Chris is a smart, intelligent person communicating, but I think that he'll be able to, instill some things that he wants the team to do in different areas of the game, and also allow them to do what they do really well. But I think getting the feel for the players, how they respond to a little more ice time, a little less time, until you get behind that bench and really understand how to manage the players. I think that'll be the biggest growing area, I think, for players and for Chris.
As always, Craig, really appreciate the time, man. Thanks a lot.
Who do you got in the Grey Cup?
Probably the Bombers.
You don't think I was going to let you out of this, did
I
you?
was going to say, okay, probably the Bombers, I would think. They're not going to turn over the football as much as Toronto turned over the football against Montreal. There's just Zach Collaros is too experienced to have the game that Chad Kelly had. And I have a hard time believing the Alouettes can generate much offense against the Bombers D. So Probably 3 of 4 here for Winnipeg, which gets that dynasty conversation going, which is kind of fun for the league. So
it is, isn't it? In Winnipeg, I was in Calgary a couple of years ago when they won their first Grey Cup in a long time, and it was pretty special. And hey, you do a great job on the CFL on TSN, Dustin, and I know you'll be excited to watch the game, and I'm always excited to hear you on the broadcast. So it'll be a great Cup. It always is. It's always a great spectacle.
Looking forward to it for sure, Craig. We'll talk next week, man.
Thanks.
There you go. That's Craig Button. We lose the audio.
I didn't have the thing sent over properly. That was on me. Yeah,
you don't want it, but you're not denying that it would be.
It's a conversation. 3 and 4 is a conversation.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah.
I don't want this.
You don't want that. Why not? That's curious. I'm curious.
Because they're a Western team. Screw the West. There's only one team that matters in the West, and it's the Edmonton Elks. Everyone else could, go away. That's my mentality. Like I give me the East every day in the Canadian Football League.
That's how it goes. That's how it should go. If you're a fan of an East team, you cheer for the West, and vice versa.
I'll cheer for UBC in U Sport. I will jump on board with UBC.
Wow.
And knock them off.
Wow.
Screw the East on that one.
Unbelievable.
Screw the East on that one. But in this one, no, it's just there's such rivalries. I'm not cheering for the Western teams. So no, and also when was the last real true dynasty in the CFL?
Oh, Edmonton?
Yes.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want the Bombers to win. I don't want them to be in this conversation. They need to go away. They need to lose. I want Jason Moss. I want Danny Machocha. I want Cody Fajardo taking that Grey Cup and lifting it while Mike O'Shea, Kyle Walters, and Zach Clars have to watch knowing that they lost 2 straight Grey Cups to the Toronto Argonauts and the Montreal Alouettes. No, I don't want a dynasty.
Wow. Any other hot takes for the Canadian Football League? Well, you're a Riders fan, so you don't want to see the Bombers win another Grey Cup.
No.
I think overall it's not bad for the league, though.
Well, I think an upset story would be quite nice as well.
I think that'd be better.
I think that whole Montreal Alouettes story. Did you see him taking a picture by a plane yesterday? Because Alouettes and planes and all that. Jason Moss is cooking. He's got them in the War Museum with the planes, and he goes, this feels right.
What does that even mean?
He's feeling his way through Grey Cup week, and I'm here for it.
Here's what I want.
Go Alouettes.
Absolutely.
Viva les Alouettes.
Here's what I want. I want the Bombers to lose so I could all start the discussion. Blow it up.
Oh, back-to-back Grey Cup losses.
They don't have it. They don't have it in them to win.
But it is nice to get punch drunk over that random team that you never cheer about at
Yes.
all. Like a full Alouettes this week.
With all due respect, it was.
You guys are a couple of Cody Fajardo lovers.
It was the Owls going up against the Riders in 09-10. I want the Owls in those games as an Elk Eskimo fan, And so, no, here I do not want the Bombers to win. I love some of those players. I'm a huge Willie Jefferson fan. Brady Oliveira has been just unbelievable.
He's a stud.
I want them to lose so bad. Ooh. It will be amazing. The spread's 7.5.
Yeah, you might end up being disappointed here.
I know, and it's not going to be disappointing. I know what to expect, but the spread's 7.5. I want it to be the Owls by 7.5.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, Marshall.
Nobody. Yeah, Marshall right now. Last night I'm laying there with Marshall watching the game. He goes, Daddy, where can I get a box of chips?
Why does he seem so dehydrated?
Him this box of chips. It was late at night. He's like, Daddy, where can I get Eric a box of chips? I was just
We're kind of up on a year on that bet. I love it.
That was Grey Cup, right?
It was a Grey Cup bet. Yeah, you betcha.
It was a Grey Cup bet. You were on the Argos last year. Marshall was on the Bombers.
Chad Kelly won me some chips.
Yeah, Chad Kelly won him some. I see people say nobody predicted Montreal over Toronto either.
Nobody predicted Montreal. Nobody predicted the Sharks to beat the Oilers. Nobody predicted the Broncos to beat the Bills. And it's a championship and a neutral site. The Bombers play so well at home. That's their place. That's their
IG
got the
Field
rum
is
hut,
insane,
right? They're all doing their thing. But this is a championship game, so who's
Cody
and the Bombers shouldn't have won that last Grey Cup at Tim Hortons Field.
That's another.
The
fraudulent dynasty.
You almost made the case that they should have won the one last year.
No, absolutely, but the Ticats blew it in that one. They absolutely blew it. That fan had to bring this Grey Cup and start drinking out of it in the.
Yeah, not good. Cody Fajardo, I think, is 0-9 in his career against Zach Clars.
Yeah. Something's got to give.
No.
Something's got to give.
The ultimate he's due.
He took them to West 5. They were to the brink, to the point, right? This could be one of those stories where he gets it over the top. Not him, though, but the defense.
The thing that the Owls have going for them, there's two. One is they do have a really good defense.
Great defense.
And defenses can win you championships. And, are they going to have 9 turnovers this weekend? Absolutely not. But can they manage one or two? And could that turn the game around?
Or a backup returner taking one back. I mean, special teams as well.
The other thing is it is any given Sunday for a reason, and they proved it last week. And can they go do it again? Where they shocked the world. You just need that one or two bad plays from the Bombers, and all of a sudden the Owls might win that football game type thing. So is it likely that the Owls win? No. But does that mean I'm still going to cheer for the Owls to win? Or I'm going to just allow the Bombers to win without cheering against them? No, of course I'm going to cheer against them.
I think
no offense, Haas and all of them. No.
There's a lot of Winnipeg sports talkers who watch the AM Nasty in the morning. So Maddie's going to be making some enemies here. We're going to get into your Coolbet hotline of the day right away. I will say, for Cody Fajardo to get over that Bombers hump and do it in a Grey Cup, that's an all-time feel-good story for one of the best dudes that you're ever going to meet.
But it wouldn't be him. It'd be the defense, so then he'd finish with
but he would still get it.
Oh, I know.
He'd be the story.
Under 100 yards.
Somehow the MVP of the game.
Oh, of course, yeah. He's the Canadian, too. Right? Why not? Give it all to him.
96 yards passing.
Suck it, Riders.
37 on the ground. But, he took the Riders to back-to-back thrilling finishes.
Hurt with bad offensive lines.
Bombers. And then leaves and now meets them again. And Cody Fajardo's got to be like, oh, my God, I can't get
It's an opportunity, but what an opportunity.
Huge opportunity.
This is what you want.
So, he was a goalpost away from a Grey Cup.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. He hit the upper.
So he might feel like this is his chance to really get it. And again, the Bombers defense, man. Like if this was an offense.
But the Bombers defense is really good, too. That's the thing.
The secondary can be...
but the Alouettes have only scored 6 offensive points against Winnipeg this season.
True.
They're not going to be able to generate any offense.
In those head-to-head matchups, this is an offense v. offense thing. But if that Montreal defense can stymie them, and then it just turns into one of those coin flip, low-scoring tight games, and
special teams
they stay in it, right? And that.
How much are the Bombers thinking that the Grey Cup was this past Saturday?
They will... I mean, they're never going to say that.
That's the...
I think other teams might... But I think O'Shea. I think
he'll
that
have
team
them dialed in.
They'll be fine. I don't think.
But that would be the impediment that you'd have for the Bombers if you look a little over it, where you go. I saw Bombers fans going this weekend after the Argos were about to lose, going, I guess Grey Cup's coming up in just a few minutes. If they overlook the Owls, that's the way the Owls win. If the Bombers don't overlook the Owls, they're probably walking.
That Montreal defense though can make plays. I mean, all 3 levels they've got playmakers, so it should make it. It should I would be stunned if the Bombers run away with this. I think it'll end up being a pretty tight football game. But it should be a good one. I'm looking forward to calling it on radio stations across the country that still exist. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, the Coolbet hotline of the day. Mr. Lean, 1-0 yesterday. You take it away, buddy. What are you looking at here? What are you looking at tonight?
Not a lot going on in sports.
Pretty busy slate in the NHL, though.
Yeah, play NHL.
I'm going to the in-season tournament action.
Of course I'm going to the in-season tournament action in the NBA. There's a bunch of different things going on. I'm not touching the Lakers game.
I was going to say, you're not going Lakers here, are you?
Lakers. You got the Clippers, 0-3 with James Harden in Denver to go up against the Nuggets.
0-4 now?
Are they 0-4? I thought it was 0-3.
I thought they were 0-4 with him.
Okay, well, they haven't won with James Harden in the lineup. Things aren't looking good. There was this clip of him where he had a couple an air ball followed by a block on one possession, and they're taking on the Nuggets, who I think 2 losses this season. They're rolling. They're at home. I'm going to take a -5 even. I'm going on the spread. And -108, the Nuggets -5 against this Clippers. This Clippers team is still trying to figure it out with James Harden. I'm going to take the team that is the defending champs that have Jokic on their team at home. So, yeah, I'll lean towards the Nuggets at -108. Or at -5 at 108.
How about you, hey? Going to the NBA in-season tournament, which
stage.
has its own tab right at coolbet.com. We go in, it's not even like in NBA. It's NBA in-season tournament. That's the action that you're going to see tonight. All the floors will be looking amazing and everything. I love the NBA in-season tournament. We're just kind of getting going. I already love it.
We're here. I
know.
Hockey guy, line
How
one,
long till
please.
hockey does
Yeah,
this?
now, once they award the
Hockey
trophy,
won't do this.
Yeah.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
They're not smart enough to figure it out.
Because the NBA is going to be doing it for a few years. Then it's going to come. NHL guys going to be like, why isn't the NHL doing this? And then the NHL is going to add it, even though I've been ripped over the last number of years in 1260, saying the NHL needed to add an in-season tournament.
Yeah, but you know
the
why
NBA
you
is
were ripped
screwing
for
this
that?
up.
Because
no one could picture it.
But now the NBA is screwing it up because they're doing it in North America, and it'll be claimed they're just copying the NBA as opposed to copying soccer leagues overseas. Is that kind of what Is that why everybody's
It's easier to do.
Is that why
the
soccer-
NBA is screwing it up because it counts for the regular season.
Yeah, that's a weird. I don't agree
This
with that.
is
Well, I think it's just because they didn't have the room in their schedule.
You
to
got to
make it its
shorten
own
the
separate
season,
thing.
the regular season, then you add the tournaments.
I think it's even more clever that it counts in the regular season.
No, because it defeats the purpose of the cup in a sense.
Yeah, why is
of
it
what
a
you're
difference?
trying to do.
Why? You still win it.
I'm not going into the
point
full
of these, though, yeah,
conversation,
is
and,
if,
like,
you-
it's-
if you're not primed to win an NBA championship, you could say, well, maybe we could win this little tournament, which requires less games played, lesser opposition, stuff like that, and then you go for that cup as opposed to the.
Also, from a business perspective, you could sell this as a TV package. This is regular season package you're selling, the regular season. You can now split it up and say we're going to sell a regular season package to TNT and ESPN and all that, but we're also going to sell the in-season tournament on its own. And that's where you make your money, by adding an extra package to all of this. Even if you shorten the national, like you're not going to shorten the national games. So that $1 billion TV deal that you have both with TNT and ESPN are still going to live. But now you could go, we're going to have another $500 million, $600 million TV package that's exclusive for the in-season tournament. And that's where the money's being left on the table by the NBA.
What say you? Hit us up, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat as well. Mr. Lean is on the Nuggets -5 against the Clippers. I'm going to go to the National Hockey League tonight, and we are going to roll the dice with Vegas. The Golden Knights in regulation at +106 against the Washington Capitals. I know Washington's kind of figured it out lately, but Vegas in regulation at plus money against anybody, I don't mind it. So let's get on the Golden Knights for your Coolbet hotline of the day. Vegas +106.
It's an afternoon game for them.
Yeah, well,
Look at the
sched. That would be correct. All right, let's get to a sports update. We've got confessions. What do you need to get off your chest? You can hit us up right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Send your confessions over, also in the nasty chat as well. We'll have some confessions for you. But first, a sports update with Lieutenant Eric.
The Edmonton Oilers bouncing the Islanders 4-1. Chris Knobloch, his first win as an NHL head coach. Draisaitl, Hyman, McDavid, and Kane all getting the goals, while Stuart Skinner stopping 32 of 33 shots faced. The Oilers host the Kraken tomorrow before embarking on an Eastern Coast swing. Just one of the game last night. Avalanche easing past that Kraken squad 5-1. 9 games dot the NHL schedule tonight. Over to the NFL, the Buffalo Bills falling to 5-5. They are in the hunt as they suffer a home defeat at the hands of the Broncos. Broncos improving to 4-5 with that 24-22 win. You can join me Thursday at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge when the Bengals visit the Ravens. It'll be your second last chance to qualify into a draw for a trip for 2 to LA to catch the Rams and the Browns. That draw will be made next Monday night. Eagles and Chiefs. Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. Pascal Siakam, 39 points. Raptors overcame a 21-point deficit to beat the Wizards 111-107. Raps will get set to host the Bucks tomorrow as 10 games are on tonight's in-season tournament group stage schedule.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
.34 on the Nielson Show. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. Quick question for you on the Edmonton Oilers today, if you want to chime in the nasty chat, or at 780-218-9999 in the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. And that would be, after watching the first game with Noblock last night, is this thing going to turn around? Do you think this thing's going to turn around? I think the correct answer here would be Now, I know there will be some people who will be like, no, I'm still not liking what I'm seeing. There'll be other people who are like, oh my God, plan the parade. The correct answer here is probably you're going to need to see a whole lot more of what you saw last night. And we have to remember the Islanders. The Islander fans can be saying the same thing about the Oilers so far this year because the Oilers have also sucked so far this year, but the Islanders are not a very good hockey team.
5 straight now, 4 straight.
And they kind of like the Oilers let the Islanders kind of dictate the game for a couple periods, and then the power play basically sealed it away for Edmonton, and they were tight after that.
There's nothing about the Islanders that really scares you, though, from an offensive point. And as I mentioned, Sorokin and Net can be that guy some nights, right? And that could get them out of some jams, and it could attract that way last night. It didn't.
The only time you ever look at the Islanders you get threat is when Matt Barzal has the puck on a stick, and he starts spinning around and stuff. You're like, oh, they might do something offensively.
But there's not that constant, oh, my God, every time you're like, oh, I'm wondering. It seemed like a game even after that first goal where you're like, okay, they settle in. They should be able to take care of it. If they're the team that you think they are, prior to the beginning of the season and making cup parades and everything, this is business now that they have to take care of, even though the Islanders right now are ahead of them in the standings in a better team.
The Oilers won a tight blah game, which usually you don't see many blah games because they're always trying to open it up. So that's a positive. So when you see last night's, like when you watch last night, I don't think that becomes the recipe all of a sudden immediately for the Oilers where they're winning like a 3-1, 2-1 type of hockey game. But now they put together 2 wins in a row. McDavid and Draisaitl, 6 combined points. Maybe this does get them going. It'll be a huge road trip coming up.
That's Hampton Steve just texted that in, and that might be your measuring stick.
That road trip would be a real measuring stick, because what is it? Carolina?
Tampa Saturday. You got Florida, Carolina,
Washington. Yeah.
I don't know in that
tough
order,
tests along the way. Actually have to beat some teams that are in the playoffs at that point.
Which I think the Oilers had when they made the move to Woodcroft, too. It was early, like pretty quick. They went on that exact same swing.
They won 5 in a row.
It's a time
They won
loop.
5 in a row when Woody took over, didn't they?
Well, but like they also had that swing where they had to go to Tampa, Florida, Carolina pretty early in that. Yeah, because he took over against that Islander game, and then that was Feb 11th. At the end of that month, they had that swing down in Florida and Carolina.
So similarities here. We'll see if it continues to play out. Let's get into your weekly confessions brought to you by Spectrum Rental, where they confess to bringing the heat, temporary construction heat. They rent to set up all types of natural gas, propane, electric heaters, insulated tarps for new home or commercial construction. Spectrum Rental, keeping your project on time, which from what I hear about projects is the most important, second most important thing. First, you got to be on budget.
Yeah.
Then you got to be on time.
You don't have to be on a budget, as Arizona University Athletics exercised. Hey, did you see that?
No, I didn't see this.
$250 million, I guess, and
$250 million over budget?
Missing funds.
Missing.
Just like, they're going to have to scale back, 25 programs, athletic programs?
How do you lose?
Everything's on the board now. RIP to the Arizona Wildcats. They should have taken the advice.
Did you say Arizona State or Arizona?
Arizona.
Arizona?
Yeah, not state.
It seems like an Arizona State thing.
It would seem like a state thing. Did you check under the mattress there in those PBR cans? But no, it's Wildcats.
Wow. All right. Well, that's interesting. But check them out, Spectrum Rental. Whatever you need, they got you covered.
$240 million school-wide shortage after significant miscalculations in their financial modeling. Cuts are being considered among the school's 23 varsity teams. Everything's on the table in terms of dealing with the athletics. $240 million.
How do you misplace $240 million?
Miscalculations.
God, that's not one of those things where somebody loses their job. That's their thing when somebody's going to jail. Like when $240 million are missing, somebody is going to jail.
Or they're living on some island with that $240 million right now, or whatever it is.
All right, weekly confessions, buddy. What do you got for Spectrum Rental?
I've been planning to clean the basement now for 3 weeks, and I haven't. It's a very innocent.
How messy is your basement?
It's not like a disaster zone, but it's one of those things where you have a list of things to do, and you keep ignoring something, and you keep ignoring something, and ignoring something, and it keeps annoying you to the point of I don't even go down there anymore because I don't want to look at the mess that I've created and refuse to clean up. It's not that bad. It's just finding the time. You know, when you have something staring you in the face and you don't do it. It's just regular. It's like a sweeping of it's nothing. It's nothing to Tim Allen or Tim the Toolman Taylor here. I just need to go and do it, and I haven't done it, and it's pissing me off. I didn't do anything bad. This isn't like a sinful confession. I just maybe this will spur me on to actually do it. Maybe this will be the kick in the. Maybe this is me firing my inner Woodcroft and hiring my inner Noblock. I'll be the same person when I get home.
But you might be motivated for a day.
A change is a change.
To get something done. Yeah, that's not bad.
That new confession bump, I think, is what they call it in the biz.
What do you need to confess? 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. You can submit your confessions. I've got a couple. This one's not so much a confession, but it's a humble brag. I'm getting really good at putting up rink boards in the backyard. Yesterday I did it. I put up the entire rink boards in like an hour and 5 minutes. Should have seen it.
If you need yours set up, 780-218-9999, and he'll come over real quick, right? You got a truck now. You can...
A big truck guy.
Dusty's rink installations here. You get a little job on the side, eh?
Well, as soon as CFL wraps up, I'm gonna have a little bit more time.
Sure.
So I'll start doing rink installations all weekend.
Marshall could join you and, monitor.
A family thing.
Yeah.
It's a family thing. It went really well yesterday. Like, I didn't even have to, move a board over an inch. I just instantly slotted them in, and it was awesome. It was real nice. Real nice. Felt really good about that. Here's my confession. I really still want to see the Barbie movie. Like, I'm frustrated with myself that I have not yet seen this Barbie movie, because a lot of people have seen it, and they're like, this is awesome. This is a great movie. Some people are talking about Ryan Gosling for an Oscar, for goodness sake. I'm nominated for an Oscar. He's probably not going to win it for a movie called Barbie, but everybody says it's absolutely amazing, and I can't believe I'm sitting here going like, man, I really still want to watch Barbie.
Is it still in the theater? Are you able to? Do you need to see it in the theater? Or are you willing to get it on Blu-ray or whatever?
Do we still have like those theaters in town where it's like $5 and you can go to a movie that was like
the Rainbow or whatever it was?
Yeah, like it's like
3
months old.
Yeah, the cheap theaters. No, I think they all closed now.
No cheap theaters
I think
anymore?
they all. There might be one maybe still going. The one on the north side near Clairview's.
There you go.
That one shut
to
down.
Clairview.
No, that one
shut down.
that was the long time one. I actually just drove by it a couple days ago. And
Were you thinking of going to a cheap movie?
no, I was having to just drive by that area, and I was looking at it, drove right in front of it and stuff, and it was sad that it was gone.
I used to love going to
movie 52, I think it was, or something.
There is a place in Lethbridge, which I think is still open, called the Movie Mill. And it was like $2 to go watch it. We used to go. That's where I watched The Big Lebowski for the first time. I'll never forget it. Joe Belineski says, Dusty, same. Yeah, I don't know. There was such good reviews about it. I didn't think, like, once it passed by, I would be like, I don't care.
You're getting the FOMO.
But the other day, I was just like, I heard somebody talking about it. And I was like, damn it, man.
Yeah.
I want to watch Barbies.
You're missing out on all the jokes, right?
Yeah, maybe there's
zooming over your head. You don't
well,
even know it.
You know, that's a really good point, because I see a bunch of people still online being like, oh, he's Ken. I'm like, I don't know what that means technically, because I haven't seen this Barbie movie
Halloween
yet.
made no sense to you this year, right?
No.
Why would all these attractive-looking people walking around here?
At all. Greg is in and says, confession, I decided to not flood a rink in the backyard this year. Shame. Wow, that comes in from Greg, who basically confesses this morning to not loving his kids anymore. Ugh, that stings. That one hurts a little.
At least you're not lying to them about pucks, though, eh? Like somebody we know.
Yeah. The new head coach of the Oilers lying to his children about which is the game puck and which is just a souvenir puck. Yeah. I would hope an NHL coach's kid could tell a puck that was used a little bit as opposed to a souvenir puck. Probably.
2K can get whatever he wants right now. I think you can get
Coach
a little better than pucks right now, eh?
Yeah.
I mean,
Paul Coffey.
He snaps his finger.
Paul Coffey signed this puck.
Paul Coffey will give him a phone call.
I work with Paul Coffey.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to confess the same thing about our guest room. I don't think it had the mattress in it for a couple of months now, and I've been meaning to clean it up every single weekend, but it never gets done. That comes in from Colin, the Amish man.
Okay, I like that. Now that we're doing this together, we're getting ourselves geared up to take on these big jobs and duties that we have in our lives that we're just too cowardly to do. I have another confession as well, if I can. Do we still have some time?
Yeah, of course.
The big tree on my front
Wyshynski's
lawn.
not up till 7:50.
Big tree on my front lawn. Those maroon leaves. They all
okay.
And so it's covering my. I didn't rake any leaves.
You didn't rake any leaves this year?
No.
What?
Well,
I thought you loved working outdoors.
I do. All of the lawns on our.
Wow.
The neighbor, remember I told you I had a thing with the neighbor and they weren't upkeeping their yard or whatever?
Yeah.
I've since met and talked, and they're also new homeowners, so we're kind of in the same boat. They're fine. But everybody else's lawns have been cut and raked for the fall season, and mine is still covered in leaves. And I'm choosing to leave the leaves so that the bugs can have a place. Because now if I do it, the bugs they're all snoozing for the winter. Now I'm going to go in there and mow over them. And
Wow.
I don't want to do that. So now they're resting for the winter. I have to leave the leaves. But now when there's a bit of wind, right? Now you can see those, and they're very marooned. Like everybody knows which leaves are mine. You know right down the block. So if they get carried down, I have this kind of inner shame. I'm looking at my front window. Oh, my God, there's a maroon leaf across the street. What are they thinking about me? Because I am.
How have you allowed this to happen?
Well, I just kind of...
You've been in your house for what, a year and a half?
Yeah, but you can do this. You can do
You've
this.
already given up on the yard.
You can do this in the fall or the spring, correct? It doesn't matter. You clean up in the fall, you can clean up in the spring.
We've done all
It's
of
the
our
same
leaves
thing.
3 times.
I just think that's kind of a waste of time. I'll do it all in the spring. When the bugs are awake and they can fly away, I'll wait till it gets... And now, you know what? The grass under it's still green. It's like a putting green under there. Because it's just insulated from everything. It's still summer in my front yard, baby.
Move?
I don't know.
Is smart
Is
move?
it?
That's crazy to me. I thought for sure you would have been like, anytime a leaf came down, you were out there gathering it up.
Tell me if I'm wrong or right.
780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. Sunday morning, or Denny's in and says, I must confess that I cried like a baby when I saw Trent Williams dressing for my Niners on Sunday morning. That went in from Denny. That hit him big last night. A few more text messages about the game that we can certainly work our way into. Chris says, I'm supposed to be cleaning the hot tub right now, but I'm just hiding in the basement listening to you guys.
A live confession, eh? Stay strong.
He's downstairs hiding in like a room, like texting us. Be like, I hope she doesn't find me. Also, who's cleaning the hot tub at 7:45 in the morning? It seems like a very early hot tub cleaning, even though I know nothing about the regular time for hot tub cleaning.
Myself and the Amish gentleman confessing that we can't get around to things. I'm loving that he's doing this 7:45 in the morning, getting right at it. This is the inspiration I need.
Do fish pee? The nasty chat says, leaving the leaves is better for your yard. Sailor says, it's better to leave the leaves on your grass. It's food and insulation for your grass in the winter.
Some people talking snow mobile. This is like a 50-50. It's always the case when you ask for advice here, and everybody's like, oh, it's the best. Oh, it's the worst.
If leaving the leaves on, then why doesn't all of society do it? You know, if it was the right thing to do.
Well, I think people do it because they want to clean things up, and that you have to have a nice lawn.
You don't want to worry about that snow mold, though.
It's a thing of the past. Well, the snow mold, that's a...
snow mold
I don't
stuff.
want that.
All right, your confessions anytime. Pretty much all week. We do put them in right now for Spectrum Rental, but
yeah, get them in if you want to send on a Saturday night. If you feel,
yeah, it doesn't matter. Our inbox is always open,
and it's those Saturday night texts that kind of sometimes really go back, read those on the Monday.
Let's get to this text. This is interesting. Back to the game. We got Greg Wyshynski coming up on the Edmonton Oilers and the parade that people are going to be planning now. Morning, boys. I was at the game last night, and there was zero energy in the building. We had 12 shots in the first 2 periods. Not what you expected to see with a new coach. If they cannot get up for that game, there's a problem. I think firing Woody was a mistake, but a win is a win. At this point, we'll take them all, big and small. I think they can still pull it off and make the playoffs. Best of luck to Noblock and the boys. So there you go. It's kind of like I just thought they kind of got sucked into the Islanders game for the first 2 periods last night. Craig Button said maybe that was a good thing. Maybe the Islanders and the way that, they don't really threaten too much offensively. Maybe that was a good thing last night for the Oilers because they didn't have to feel a lot of that heat coming the other way, and they could kind of just go through the paces for the first 40 minutes. The game basically came down to a bad penalty taken by the Islanders and the Oilers' power play making them pay a couple of times.
Yes, and prior to this East Coast road trip, I think a nice couple of games here to get settled in here. Of course, Islanders yesterday, Kraken tomorrow, but I think Tom also mentioned when he was down in the rain, a bit of a dead energy feel to it all in Knobloch's first skate around too. He kind of said the same thing. It wasn't like this uppity, new coach and we gotta, spring in a step. It was kind of like more of a type of funeral reception type of feel, quiet, laid back, downtrodden, whispering.
Well, I think that's natural. That's a nervous energy.
Nervous
there,
energy,
right? Like
that's the
just
one.
a nervous energy up there because you're like, especially when they allow a goal so early.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people probably rolled in last night being like, they were expecting the first period that they saw against Seattle, where it was like, boom, 4 goals, Hyman hat trick, Holloway here. Which is kind of, it's that new coach. You're thinking it's going to be like this huge blow-up and party, but it did not end up
or even other games in which
being the case.
They've lost. They've started extremely well. But again, bookending it as well in that third, which they haven't really done so far this season.
They haven't been able to do that so far this season. That is correct. All right, well, let's find out. Man, Greg Wyshynski, Picked them to win the Stanley Cup. You must be pretty excited right now. Wyshynski's brought to you by Metal Supermarkets, your convenience stores for Metal. That's always great. Wyshynski, the Edmonton Oilers, 2 in a row. One with the old coach, one with the new coach. It doesn't matter who's coaching them. They're winning games right now, Greg.
6 points out of the wild card, baby. I told you. I told you it was going to be fine. I told you there was time. Knobs came in. He obviously changed every system, laid down the law, made everybody play better in the span of like 20 minutes with the team. It's all good now, baby. We're back on the tracks. We're headed to the promised land.
What'd you think of the decision to finally pull the trigger here on Woodcroft and bring in Chris Knoblauch, who, like Woodcroft when he came in, no NHL head coaching experience just yet, but a guy that's thought by many to have what it takes when he does get an opportunity?
So I had 2 reactions to it. Like first of all, I felt bad for Woodcroft because, again, they weren't playing that badly if you look at the underlying numbers. First in the league in expected goals, pretty good on expected goals against. Like systems-wise, things seem to be trending in the right direction, but like the execution was terrible. I mean, they were making mistakes that were unconscionable defensively, and then every mistake they made was ending up in the back of their net because the goaltending stunk. So, I felt bad that the execution wasn't there, and I also felt bad because obviously, like after the Sharks loss, it was pretty clear that this team needed some kind of new voice behind the bench because they were listless and playing tight and had the weight of all those expectations on their shoulders. Now, my other reaction, as I mentioned on our podcast, The Drop this week, is I find it amazing that we finally have confirmation that Connor McDavid is running the Oilers. This is the greatest thing ever. I live and breathe for moments like this where you have a star player who is accused of basically getting rid of a coach, getting his old junior coach installed. And by the way, then you have the added intrigue of Paul Coffey being a narc on the Edmonton bench because he's in league with the team's owner as a consultant. So every time those guys step on the ice, there's a hall monitor there, taking notes for Daryl Cates. Like it is the most amazing way that this thing could have played out. And by the way, I saw Connor yesterday and he was all broken up about people saying, "Oh, you did this." And he's like, "No, I didn't." I'd be really pissed off if I didn't know this was happening if I was Connor.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being Connor McDavid and, like, Jeff Jackson, your agent, doesn't hip you to the fact that they're going to hire your coach from junior, and then you're going to have to go face a bunch of people that believe that you did all this. Like,
you're right, because at that point he would have been like, "Hey, man, thanks for the heads up." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I refuse. Like I know what he's saying, and I feel bad for him because I don't think this is necessarily him bursting into Jeff's office and being like, "We got to get Noblock in here." Remember how good the Otters were? Like I don't think it went that way, but I do think that he had to have known because if he didn't know, then his agent turned CEO did him dirty because now everybody thinks he's like running the show. They think he's going to be making calls at the trade deadline now, basically, for the Edmonton Oilers. So he better have damn known that this thing was coming down the pike.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's funny because you look at it and it's his former agent who's the CEO. They brought in his former line mate in Connor Brown. They brought in his former junior coach here. And I think the best way to describe it is how people did yesterday. It's probably not Connor being like, "I want this guy, I want this guy, I want this guy." But it could very well be the organization being like, "We have to find a way to keep Connor McDavid here long term. And if we can bring in at least his former agent to actually run the team, that might help." It's almost more of a, the organization is trying to please him as opposed to him calling the shots, right?
Yeah. So basically the Oilers are like a real bad husband at gift giving. Like they're just like, "Here are all the things I think you want," and then she's just kind of smiling and sticking them in a drawer. Like, you know what I mean? Like I get there is a path where that's possible, where they're just doing all these things absent of Connor knowing about them and hoping this is what he needs. And at the end of the day, like the Noblock hire is not something I hate. Like he's clearly somebody that's been on the radar for other teams, including one of Ken Holland's hirings in the past. I think he's got a real knack for special teams, and maybe that's already, made an impact last night where they were much better. And then he also is like a good communicator with players and understanding how to maximize their roles and really kind of connecting on a one-on-one way. Like he's been that way throughout his career and not in like a creepy Babcock way, like in a good productive way. So he could end up being the right guy for the gig. You know what? So this is what I've been thinking about a lot. Because a lot of people have been talking about like the St. Louis Blues comparison, right? Like these guys are going to be the Blues. They're going to rally from the basement and make the playoffs. Like that could probably happen. Even if they didn't have like Jordan Binnington level goaltending. But the thing I've been thinking about a lot is Dan Bylsma. Remember when Bylsma was hired by the Penguins? Like he was not a guy with previous head coaching experience, but he was a guy who wasn't Michel Therrien. Yeah. Like that was his whole thing. You're not this guy. You needed a different voice behind the bench. You needed to kind of change the vibe. The Penguins made that move, and they won the cup with Bylsma. And I think about that a lot when teams make this kind of move, where it's like they didn't get a retread, they didn't get a familiar voice, they didn't promote an assistant. They went outside the organization and got somebody new, and maybe that's the vibe change that they ended up needing.
You did bring up the Paul Coffey aspect of this, and I when I saw the coaching change, I was like, okay, on Noblock, there's been a lot of people in the market who've spoken very highly of him. Like, I understand that, and then the Oilers put out the release, and it's like, and Paul Coffey will be heading behind the bench to work with him as well, and Paul has been a senior advisor in the organization. I'm not sure technically this is how other teams do it, but it's a very fascinating element of all of this, isn't it?
It is, and we were talking on the drop this week about how it's probably not a permanent fix. I don't necessarily think that
rest
this guy's
of the season
looking to be,
and that's it.
Rest of the season, groom somebody to kind of be your replacement as the defensive assistant coach like that. That makes sense. I do find it hilarious though that like he gets put on the bench and you have people that are just like, oh man, if there's anybody who can figure this out, it's a Hall of Fame defenseman and Paul Coffey. I'm like, did you guys see Paul Coffey play? It's not as if he's Jacob Slavin back there. But then again, like how many good hitting coaches in baseball were guys that hit like 210 during their career?
Yeah.
But they just understand the aspect of teaching and molding and shaping. So I don't know. Like I said, ultimately, it very much feels less about the tactical things that he's going to do to make their defense better, and much more about having Daryl Cage's guy there to know that you best. He's basically de facto bad cop at this point. Like just being on the bench and knowing that somebody's there taking notes on you that's going to be able to inform the owner on what he sees in practice and on the ice every game.
Greg Wyshynski, ESPN, joining us here on the Nielson Show, Edmonton Sports Talk. Greg, just putting on your guessing cap right now. It doesn't need to be anything firm, but Jay Woodcroft, do you see him behind a bench this season? And if so, which market and which capacity?
I don't think he's going to be on the bench this season, but I do think he'll be on the bench again. It wouldn't surprise me to see him get another head coaching gig. Like, I think that, there's a certain amount of like, okay, how much of it was Connor and Leon to him? But I think if you ask around the league, people were probably a little impressed by how good they were with him there. When he was hired, there was a lot of people kind of snickering behind the scenes about him being, the video coach that ascended to be an NHL head coach. And I think that he acquitted himself better than maybe people expected. And again, the other thing too is that you have to remember that a lot of coaches do end up finding a second life if the thought is that they were a victim of terrible goaltending.
Yeah.
If things are trending in the right way and the team was doing some right things, but then when you get, Skinner, like a -9 goals saved above expected in the first 10 games of the season, like what are you supposed to do with that? So I don't know. I could see him getting a head coaching job. I could also see him settling in to be an assistant somewhere. But I don't think this is the end of his NHL life as a coach. I think he's going to find another gig at some point.
Greg, what do you got coming up at ESPN this week?
Tomorrow is a fun one. Tomorrow is the current NHL Players Hall of Fame tiers. Who's in, who's out, who needs a little bit more work. It's really fun. We do it every year, and it's fun to see kind of like how some of the players move up and down based on what's happened in recent history. It's going to be a fun one, I think.
Who's going in next year?
So I got that on the site today. I ran yesterday, rather, the class of 2024. It's really going to real quick. Like it's really going to depend on the Russia thing. Obviously we've seen the hockey world react to the Russian invasion of Ukraine by pulling away from Russia, the IHF banning Russia and Belarus. The NHL can't figure out the World Cup of Hockey because of the Russia issue. If the Hockey Hall of Fame, which did not put in a Russian this year, we should point out, is going to allow Russians in the next class, then it's probably going to be Pavel Datsyuk and Alex McGillney, maybe Ilya Kovalchuk getting in. But if they don't, then it really does open the door for what I think could end up being Tkachuk Zetterberg, Shea Weber as a possible class. So it really does hinge on whether or not we're going to let the Russians in, because like that's obviously a first ballot guy. And McGillney is still waiting as probably the second most worthy guy that's going to be on the ballot next year.
As always, buddy, great stuff. We appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Anytime.
There you go. That's Greg Wyshynski for Metal Supermarkets, your convenience stores for... Oh, let's do that one more time. For... Dude, you play that guitar so good.
That's from years of that, what is it, rock band, right?
Were you a rock band guy?
I tested myself a few times, for sure. Never the what was it, the Freebird
No, you didn't
final
go crazy
level
there.
boss man kind of type of player, but no, I could do a Yankee Doodle.
Metal Supermarkets, convenience stores for metal, any metal, cut to size, ready, fast. I really do wish I was in serious need of various sizes of metal so I could go in there and get these things cut.
Well, okay, you're the ODR. There needs to be some sort of requirement, but you can make a need, right? Like
I guess
metal boards. Hey, why not? It would be something you really
I want the real sharpest metal boards you got.
really to feel those hits. You know what I mean?
That would be tough. But yeah, if you're in the metal business and you need some stuff cut fast, cut right, they got it taken care of for you at Metal Supermarkets, your convenience stores for. All right. We continue with the fun here on the Nielson Show. We do need somebody to play kind of easy trivia. So let's do that right now. How about you fire us a text? 780-218-9999 if you would like to win a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. Just text in right now to Maddie and say, hey, pick me. I want Mr. Mike's. Give me that pickle. However you want. Stand out. Maddie will pick one of you. You will play kind of easy trivia coming up. If you have any questions for 3 questions too many today, whether it's Oilers questions, Grey Cup questions, NFL questions, non-sports questions, whatever you got, text those as well to 780-218-9999 or ask them in the nasty chat, and we will get them in during 3 questions too many coming up as well. Joaquin Gage is going to pop by in hour number 3. We'll get his thoughts on the play of Stuart Skinner over these last couple of games. 970. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. All right, let's get to a sports update for United Sport and Cycle with Lieutenant Eric.
The Edmonton Oilers bouncing the Islanders 4-1 last night, giving Chris Knobloch his first win as an NHL head coach. Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, Connor McDavid, and Evander Kane into the empty net, all scoring for the Oilers. Stuart Skinner stopping 32 of 33 shots faced. The Oilers will host the Kraken tomorrow before embarking on an East Coast trip. Just one other game last night saw Colorado ease past the Kraken 5-1, 9 games around the NHL this evening. CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie speaking this morning. His State of the League address, one of the main points Ambrosie did mention was that the schedule will go back to the old style where each team plays itself once and all that stuff kind of goes on. So the old style schedule is back. There will be no more not playing a team or whatever, not playing a team. So CFL getting back. More for Randy Ambrosie as we'll continue on the show this morning. NFL sticking with football. Bills, they're now 5-5. They suffer a home defeat at the hands of the Broncos, who are now 4-5, as Will Lutz would get a do-over, kicking a 36-yard winner as time expired. 24-22 Broncos with their 3rd straight win. You can join me Thursday at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. It'll be the Bengals visiting the Ravens, and your second last chance to qualify into a draw for a trip for 2 to LA to catch the Rams and Browns. That draw will be made next Monday. Chiefs and Eagles. That's Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Century Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. Raptors defeating the Wizards last night, 111-107, overcoming a 21-point deficit. Raps host the Bucks tomorrow. 10 games tonight in the group stage from the in-season tournament. Sports update for United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
8:04 with the AM Nasty. Thank you very much for being here. Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric with you. We got Mr. Lean, Matty Wanek in the corner as well. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999 if you're listening at edmontonsportstalk.com or at TuneIn. How easy is that, right? Tell your friends that we're providing you with great static-free sports content every single day right here at edmontonsportstalk.com. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to go hop in the car and head to work or whatever, just download the free TuneIn app. And we have weaseled our way in there with all the other local radio stations, and you can listen to us on the way in to work. You know what else we need to do? We need to start hammering that thumbs up. We're about 140. We still got an hour left. We're right on pace. We're right on about a 200 thumbs up pace, which is nice. So let's keep that going. From the update for United Sport and Cycle.
Yeah.
CFL going to go, every team plays a home and home with everybody else.
I was paraphrasing a bit. I lost the tweet, but just some points from Randy Ambrosie's State of the League this morning floating out there. But yes, they're going back to that old, well, the schedule you always had, where you play each team in the division once in a way, and then or twice or whatever it was. But whatever here, I'll find the.
So it sounds like it'll be going back to home and home with everybody in the league.
Exactly, that type of thing.
Games within the division.
Back to a balanced schedule, this courtesy Ted Wyman. Every team will play every other team at least twice, home and home.
All right. There we go. That's nice.
It is nice.
Ted Wyman, by the way, beauty. Love that guy. Does a great job covering the Canadian Football League and the Winnipeg
Another
Blue
great
Bombers.
Winnipegger, hey? That whole media
that
throng
whole
out
media
there
group
is just
in Winnipeg, man. They're just all beauties. They just are.
Spirit of Winnipeg, maybe, hey?
Yeah.
Maybe make that a thing moving forward, eh?
All right. Who do we got for Kind of Easy Trivia today?
Curtis
is going to play Kind of Easy Trivia today. Needs to get 3 of the 5 questions correct to be a winner this morning and get his hands on a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. You know what's to die for? How about the sirloin bites? They are absolutely delicious. My recommendation would be the classic Mike Burger, pickle in, pickle out. You got to love it either way. They got that new location in Fort Sask as well. So for everybody up in Fort Sask, you want to go have something delicious in your neighborhood, Mr. Mike's has you covered. All right, let's bring in Curtis this morning. Curtis, you ready to roll, man?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, here we go. I'll start the ticker after I read the first question. Good luck. How many goals did the Oilers win by last night?
3.
Which Oiler had 4 points last night?
Draisaitl.
How many games have the Oilers won in a row?
2.
Which team beat the Buffalo Bills last night?
Broncos. Broncos.
Who is the quarterback of your Broncos?
Russell Wilson.
That's right.
And Sergio Ramos gets a nipple erection.
Oh, is that dirty?
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Oh, is that dirty?
Frustration sets in and the emotion goes out, and then you just start playing by yourself.
Oh, is that dirty?
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Congratulations to Curtis. He is off to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Take the family, take a special someone on a little date, and impress them. Just whip out that Mr. Mike's, and these Mr. Mike gift cards come they look like little cards, like a little credit card type of thing, right? Like that type of card.
Charge it. You say charge it.
Yeah. I'll just put it on this. Yeah. You must listen to the boys.
Take the date out and say put it on the card, but don't show that. Yeah. No, what card? It doesn't matter.
I got this. Yeah. Well, I got $25 of it. You're gonna have to chip
You're still owing.
You're gonna have to chip in the rest.
This card out, hey?
That's good. That's good. That's funny stuff. All right, let's get into. Well, you can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. The Edmonton Oilers, are they back, baby? I can never tell. Like, Twitter is a tough place to determine what people are actually thinking. Because last night I saw some people being like, they're back. And I was like, is that like a funny they're back? Or is that like a real they're back?
Here's one. Were they ever gone?
Whoa.
Right? Maybe they've been who they are all the time. They were just having a nap.
So what do you think? The Edmonton Oilers, you watched them play last night. Well, they've allowed now. The last 2 games, they've allowed 1 goal in each of them. That's kind of rare for this group. Now, they haven't been playing a bunch of Stanley Cup contenders, So that's something that you could look at, but a win's a win.
They're all
They'll
teams
take
ahead of
this
them.
point. Knoblauch
Seattle's
got
ahead
his
of them.
first one.
You're chasing Seattle for a wild card. The Islanders are ahead of them in the standings, right? You got to.
Especially these ones. The ones in the West are huge.
Well, tomorrow against Seattle, this is like a 4-point game. They're up on you. You can get a couple points back, I believe. Yeah, with a win, so you'd be 2 points back of them. They're sitting on 13. It's the step by step.
Maybe this is the turning point. Maybe the coach does save the season. We'll see what happens on that big 4-game road trip that they do have coming up. I just hope they're not too distracted by Grey Cup weekend that they can't focus on this road trip. We'll have to see.
They're pro athletes.
They should be able to stay focused, right?
Yeah.
We'll have Joaquin Gage in about 15 minutes here as well. We'll get his thoughts on the play of Stuart Skinner as of late. I was trying to think. The last thing I thought Stuart Skinner might have been the best player on the ice for the Oilers last night, but Leon Draisaitl had 4 points. He ended up being the first star of the game, but I thought it was even more important that Skinner had another really solid start. And there was, the first goal, one-timer, high slot, tough one. After that, there was a few other pretty grade A looks, and Skinner was tight. He was not leaky in any way. Kicked out a few rebounds that maybe you didn't like, but I thought he was pretty good. The three pieces that you really need to get going were there last night.
Yeah.
Skinner was excellent. McDavid produced, and Leon Draisaitl had a big game. So that's usually going to be a recipe for success. Penalty kill goes 3 for 3. Power play goes 2 for 3. And yada, yada, yada. Bob's your uncle. You're back in the win.
And if you were getting 1 or 2 of those over this stretch, you would say maybe the record is perhaps a little better than it is today. So
that's what gets you going, right? That's hopefully how you get back on track. So we'll see. I thought the ice time distribution from Noblock was probably the most notable thing coming out of the game last night from a coaching perspective.
Not surprising, though, you would say as well, right? Like
Yeah, it also wasn't a heavy power play game, or else you would have seen the big boys probably up over 20 minutes. But it's just very rare for this team to win a game when no forward plays 20 minutes. So Knoblauch actually managed to accomplish that in his first game. But we have to remember a lot of the things being said here about everybody has a role and they're going to distribute the ice time better. These are the exact same messages that we were all passing along when Jay Woodcroft first took over. And then we saw how things kind of unraveled as far as the ice time management goes. So I'll be very fascinated and interested to see if Chris Knoblauch can kind of keep rolling these. See, there I said Knoblauch, but you probably didn't even really hear the lock part at the end. Sometimes it just sounds like Knoblauch, but it's Knoblauch.
I think we're glossing over the name. It's Chris with a K, right?
Yeah, it is.
We're just kind of letting that one slide.
Chris with a K. We were looking for some nicknames for Knobber earlier today. We had some good ones that roll in. Coach K. I thought Coach K was
Special K.
Special K. That's Maddie hates all of them.
You can't be Coach K.
Because of our guy?
Too close.
There's only one Coach K.
Too soon.
There's only one Coach K.
He's not coaching anymore.
Don't
That's
care.
the brilliance
He's
of it.
still
Coach
Coach
K.
K.
Is gone. This is the new Coach K.
He's still Coach K.
Coach 2K.
The point of that
Actually,
nickname, though.
Coach 2K works. He's got 2K.
2K.
And he's the second Coach K.
KK.
There's only one Coach K.
But that's the best part.
There's
of the
only
nickname.
one Coach
it's like calling
K.
him Chuck. That's the best part. Oh, Chuck. What do you mean? Oh, Chuck Knoblauch. Coach K would be hilarious. I'm here for it.
You can't be a Duke fan and be on board with Coach K, dude.
Look, man.
No.
Coach K's not coaching.
Doesn't matter.
The Duke Blue Devils anymore.
He's
if he was
a legend.
Still coaching the Devils,
He
I would
keeps-
have your back on this.
Wayne Gretzky doesn't play anymore. People should be able to wear 99.
It's retired. They didn't retire Coach K's name.
It should be in your mind because you're a Duke fan. Or supposedly, I thought you were. I guess maybe not.
Oh, my goodness. Spicy,
Jeez.
saucy Mr. Lean today.
Probably doesn't even care that they're taking on Michigan State today.
Hey, I asked you yesterday, did they beat Arizona the other day? I can't remember. I was just like, I was
Arizona.
traveling, so it's like,
I at least care about Coach K.
guys, it's K2, not 2K. And it's not K2 either. I'll tell you that right now. And it's not Knobs.
No, enough.
Like we're not in the dressing room. You're not in the dressing room with them. Yeah. It's not Knobs. It's not Dave.
I still like Chuck for the purposes of this show. It's every time I hear it, I can't help but giggle.
I like the comparisons to Lloyd Braun. I think there's such a good bit there with
Just
Lloyd Braun.
Lloyd.
He also looks, somebody texted in a picture of him next to the dad from 101 Dalmatians. Or the husband in 101 Dalmatians.
There are lots of
you're
seeing it now. He's
you said it. He looks like a TV show cartoon father.
Sitcom father. A real nice one, a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what else
Means
he
well,
does?
does well.
He delivers wins.
Ah.
That's what he does. We're not using the garlic references. That's just lame and lazy. There's got to be something better to come up. We will also need some good names for him for Tales of the North tomorrow as well. So you can tweet those at me at Nielson TSN 1260 still. I gotta update that bad boy here at some point, but or I'll just ride it out. Guys, I kind of want to call him Coach K just because of how upset Matty is.
That's
every time we're like Coach K, Matty's just like, ah!
No, it's because no one else
season out and falling over.
Because people don't understand. They don't know better. You know better.
I
You
know
know
he's
better.
Not coaching anymore.
It doesn't matter. He's still Coach K. That's his nick. That's who he is. There's only one Coach K, and as a Duke fan, you can't call someone else Coach K.
I just did.
I don't care about it. Then you're not a Duke fan anymore. Give a hand in your card.
I'm a huge fan of Coach Shire. Are you nuts?
I don't care. It's about Coach K. That program doesn't happen if it's not for Coach K.
And maybe this,
Even the NBA
maybe this team doesn't win a cup if it's not for Coach K.
NBA players respect Coach K, and he never coached in the pros. As a Duke, I don't care about anyone else. It's you. As a Duke fan, you can't call anyone else Coach K. Sorry.
I do think Coach K is like the most brilliant basketball mind of all time. But
apparently not.
No, it has nothing to do with the name.
You want to disrespect him.
Oh, my goodness. What if we get Mike Krzyzewski to say it's okay for us to call Chris Knobloch Coach 2K?
I still will have the respect for Coach K to call him Coach K and only him a Coach K.
What about Coach 2K?
Sure, I don't care at that point.
He's the 2Ks, and he's the second
How
Coach
much
K.
will you pay Coach K
It's
original
not Coach K.
to give privilege to, right? Cameo him. Get Coach K to say it's okay to call this coach Coach K.
TV Burkle says Coach K is out of the picture, so it's time to move on.
Different sport, too. It's
Smitty the Welder says Coach K was so overrated. Watch your mouth, Smitty.
Alan Covey says Coach K it is.
All right, let's get into 3 questions too many. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment?
Yes. 3 questions too many brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, whom he goes by the dealership. Dealer principal L. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. It's a little close to the Coach K thing, but not too, right? If you have a different, as somebody said, you can't retire a letter of the alphabet.
Exactly.
If we called him Coach KK.
Go for it. There's only
Coach
one
2K.
Coach K.
Coach 2K.
If you
Coach
are
K.
a Duke
K.
fan,
Right.
as a Duke fan, there's one Coach K. That's it. As a basketball fan, there's one Coach K. That's it.
He's not a basketball coach. I understand your theory of like a basketball
He's still
coach.
Coach K. It's the same as when a president's over, you still call them Mr. President. They're presidents, even though they're no
Which
longer
I also
president
think
anymore.
is ridiculous.
No.
That's ridiculous. This guy's not president anymore. Why is he called president?
I don't care about all the non-Duke fans here in Edmonton. You can say whatever you want. You, as a Duke fan, cannot do it unless you want to hand in your Duke card. Your
You're
choice.
disappointed. You're
You get one or the
disappointed.
absolutely.
You thought
I
more
thought
of him
better
than
of
I did.
Dusty.
Well, it's hard truths.
Coach 2K.
I think Coach K.
I think Coach
K.
Coach K
Yes.
just sounds better. Coach K.
And there's yes.
Coach K. The
K.
second.
The second, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because then
Of
it's not
course
just a
it
coach.
sounds better to you. Because you've been around the real Coach K for all these years.
I haven't been around him.
Well-
I wish I was around him. God, that would have been amazing to be around Coach K. You know, the original, the old Coach K, not the new Coach K. All right, let's get into it. Do you have a Twitter account?
I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric. You can follow me on Twitter.
Beautiful. You can also follow our Edmonton Sports Talk account on Twitter.
Yep.
At Yeg Sports Talk.
Everything going on there.
So that's nice.
Connected.
That's big. That's big. All right, let's go. Question number 1. Hey, guys, do you think Coach Noblock could be called Coach K?
I think he could.
Just kidding. That's not the question. The question is, which player do you think may benefit the most from this coaching change? It's a tough one. Actually, it's a good one.
It's an
so it's a tough one.
interesting question.
If you're listening right now on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, answer that one for us, 780-218-9999, or slide into the old nasty chat as
Now,
well.
which coach are we talking about here?
Yeah, are you talking about Paul Coffey or
I
mean the answer might be Ryan McLeod.
Okay.
He actually singled out McLeod last night post game and said that he liked him. I don't know if any coach has ever said they like Ryan McLeod, but he did.
I'm just going off the early returns here, and I know nobody got their wish in firing Dustin Schwartz, the goaltending coach. He remains. The goaltending played pretty well last night. Another area of concern has been this blue line. And if Evan Bouchard is going to be a steady Eddie for most, if not all the nights.
The EM utility locating steady Eddie of the evening.
That's really good. So I know, again, early returns, but if Coffey can kind of settle things down and simplify things to whatever he wants to do with that blue line, then I'm all for it. So I'll say Evan Bouchard, but maybe with a whole just generalization of the blue line.
What say you? 780-218-9999. That is the number to dive headfirst into the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. Hey, guys, if the team defense improves, the goalie numbers should improve dramatically. So that could be something that you would look at. Lots of good text messages on, Pat in the County says Derek Ryan. Derek Ryan was supposed to get that Woody bump too, right? So we'll see if that happens here. Now, former Golden Bears, there a Golden Bears bias within the organization? Maybe. Question number 2. Are the Buffalo Bills going to have to fire someone soon? We have not even got into this game yet because of the Oilers game last night. But
wasn't exciting at all. You should have saw the square-board last night at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. With the, did you see how that thing ended?
Yeah,
right?
I saw
it. There was a point too, and I think it was a point after convert that it was muffed. Like that was a weird, funny game. Speaking from a Bills fan's point of view. But the fact that the score keeps switching, and then the do-over, the too many men, the do-over, Lutz gets it good. And eventually we got a winner on that square board. But it was like there was yelling, there was screaming, there was pointing, like from other tables.
A square board controversy?
Like thinking they had won, like pointing at the other people, and then it switches, the momentum changes. It was like momentum like a volleyball net. You're boom right over the top and boom right back at you. That was wild stuff. But the game as well, that was something. Are they firing anybody?
I leave this to you because you're the Bills fan. I mean, should they fire somebody?
Some people argue as well with the Oilers' blue line that all of these guys should be maybe a notch lower. You add somebody and they go a notch lower, that type of thing, and then they go into where they're best suited or where they best. And I see that with the Bills' offense too. I see some names and I see some guys that can do things, but I think relied on too much for guys that just don't do things, like a Gabe Davis and stuff. And when you need to play, when you need to catch, when you need something, when you don't need a fumble. I mean, James Cook.
Yeah. How about the fumble on the run?
Played really well, but then he got sat for like 15 plays. Gabe Davis is dropping things. He's like, I don't know.
Sounds like they have
a coaching change.
Sounds like they got an accountability issue.
Yeah, that could be a thing. But
accountability issue.
Look, they are in the hunt, right? And right now the Steelers and the Browns are occupying playoff spots. So I get it, and it's going to be tough slogging, but that's the AFC. And I said from the start,
they're 10th in the AFC this morning.
They're in the hunt. And you know who else is right on their heels in the hunt? The Broncos at 4-5.
That was the Bills thing originally, right? In the hunt.
In the hunt.
It was.
I look. Who knows? I'm not panicking here. I don't care that much either. I mean,
the other element
pedestrian Bills fan
is that the Denver Broncos have just picked up back-to-back wins over the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills.
And another tidy game by Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
stats wise,
he's pretty creative actually.
Dinkin and Duncan, but
yeah,
you do what you got to do.
I want to get to
a lot of pretenders out there, though. Lots of pretenders.
Let's get to this text. Nasty chat. We should call him Coach K. Matty Iwanik's response.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
Tombstone Tuesdays. God, that would hit. So I'll have to have more Tombstone clips to the vault next week. Question number 3. Good. I like this one. It's early in the week, but what's the matchup to watch in the Grey Cup this year? It's tough because you can't say Collaros versus Fajardo because it's not really a matchup. Well, I mean, I guess you could.
I'm trying to think of something off the field or something like that. Like I think maybe it's the storyline of you Suits and Bo.
Suits and Bo Levi
with a Marshall Ferguson just jammed right in there as well. What do we do with him? Right? Like I'll be looking forward to kind of keeping tabs on that. Man, Grey Cup week. I've got some serious. Like I saw Louis Butko and Joey Alfieri saying, like, "Hey, you got an extra ticket?"
Well,
like,
next year we're going.
I said, "You boys out east have fun this year," but I just wish that I could just.
EST is going to Vancouver next year, mostly because the Elks will be in it, so we got to be there.
No, we'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver's a much easier trek for us.
We'll make it all work well. Do we fly? Do we
right? Like Gibbons
hitchhike?
Epic road trip.
Do we just get in a road trip?
There's an epic road trip there. I got the truck.
Actually, depending where the West Final is, you might already kind of be in Vancouver, and we could just meet you there.
That could be.
We'll have to see how that all goes.
You're saying like if the West Final's in Vancouver,
you already be there, so you stay.
Bring
and then me and Eric and everyone else could get in a vehicle or get on the plane and come meet you out there, and we do a full week there. And then the Monday after,
may or may not show up.
Just constantly wait all weekend for it.
And then Do we take the EST stat on the Monday after Grey Cup?
I'll take the bus out there if we need to. Is there still a bus service out? I'll
start going on the Sunday morning.
We should take that train. The content would be amazing.
The Rocky Mountaineer.
Isn't there a
Via
train
Rail?
that goes like
The Rocky
from
Mountaineer.
Edmonton to Vancouver?
The Rocky Mountaineer is beautiful. It takes you through.
Let's take the train all the way down to Vancouver. Does it go
See
to
how
Vancouver?
long that goes.
Lots of money.
Well, you'd have to go, I think, down through Calgary and stuff, no?
It'd be us and a bunch of senior citizens.
I want a direct shot, you know?
I'm on Via Rail right now.
Yeah, check it
We're
out.
going
Mountaineer.
from Edmonton.
We want to go from Edmonton to Vancouver.
Rocky Mountaineer.
And they're going to call it the Grey Cup Express.
Let's say we left on Wednesday. Let's see what the soonest one.
Are you planning for Grey Cup week, or are you looking at just like...
Well, I'm not going to look that far ahead. I just want to see what type of things there are.
Has anybody ever traveled on a passenger train where you like have to sleep overnight? That's
The Rocky Mountaineer.
Oh, there we go.
Via Rail. I mean, I know that's more in our
Yeah.
finance zone, but we should really take the Rocky Mountaineer. That's the
Rocky Mountaineer,
It'd
this
be
is the
Edmonton
big one.
Sports Talk and a bunch of seniors on their way to Vancouver. 3 squares a day. You can sleep in the cab.
Yeah. Is
like
there a
that.
bar cart?
They
There's a bar cart?
Have you seen this Rocky Mountaineer?
No, I haven't
It
seen
is
it.
like the train. It's like those old style trains. It's like goes through the mountains.
We
Via
always
Rail's
come up with
just
the best
kinda
ideas.
Yeah.
What's it
there
called?
we go.
Rocky Mountaineer. That's
Rocky
your
Mountaineer.
That's your big boy.
It'll take 1 day and 8 hours, 9 hours
Love it.
On the Rocky Mountaineer?
on the Edmonton to Vancouver Via Rail line.
So we could do it. How much are those tickets?
$235. This is one
That's
way.
it?
This is one way.
Oh.
I didn't do round
I
trip.
have to figure out how to get back.
Well, yeah, you do the round trip. I just was.
I don't want to take the train twice. I mean, it's once. It's cool on the way
Yeah,
down.
you
on
fly.
The way back, you're like, there's 24 hours.
Actually, that's a really good point. We're not
Yeah.
driving that.
No.
The drive back's going to be awful.
A Grey
You
Cup
see the
hangover
scenery on
would be
the-
tough. We're flying back. Dusty, the Rocky Mountaineer looks amazing.
It's insane. I think PBS does a special in it. You got to
What?
watch it. It's great.
And this is wow.
And it's like an
Yeah,
old
they have a,
steam
they have a
engine.
partnership with Aeroplan.
Yeah. Like it looks like something out of a Disney movie. Like you kind of, it's majesty.
I like the idea of all the stuff we could do video-wise on a train going down to the Grey Cup next year.
I just love all that we could do a Grey Cup next year.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Like the tough part will be the morning show because it's instead of 6 to 9, it's 5 to 8 out there, right? So
That's
you guys have to
gross.
deal with that.
Maybe we can be back in bed by 8:30.
Back to the question though. It's Montreal's defense against
Brady Oliveira.
Sure. Montreal's defense against fill in the blank. One of Zach Collaros or the running game or even that offensive line.
I don't even know if that's it. I
Win the line of scrimmage.
I don't know how the Bombers generate. I don't know how the Alouettes generate offense.
Well, I don't think they will.
Well, that's the
Unless
thing.
the defense causes turnovers deep in Bomber territory and Cody
They
Fajardo
still
only
didn't
has
do
20
that,
yards
though.
to.
They did that multiple times. They still didn't really do that last game.
That would be the chance though to get in.
I know. I think the Bombers' defense might eat them up, which could end up being the main.
Well, that'll
storyline
be
of
likely,
this game,
right? Like that. That's
yeah.
But what can that Montreal defense keep him in?
The sweaty pervert in the nasty chat. First time I think I've seen sweaty pervert message in. The Rocky Mountaineer doesn't run to Edmonton and also not during Grey Cup.
Well, we could
cross that one off the list.
I'm sure we could take the Via to some sort of a park and ride. You take that's here, then you hop on the Rocky. I mean,
there are ways to get there.
Maybe West Final.
We've been saying we want a travel agency to work with us. So if you know anybody who works or owns a travel agency, have them reach out because we got some fun plans, I think, and it could be a pretty good time. All right, 3 questions too many. There you go. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where I still have to get my truck back in to get the full protection on it. I'll do that next week. We'll put that on the schedule for next week. All right, Joaquin Gage, he has been waiting. Gager's going to slide in this morning. Joaquin Gage, how you doing, buddy?
I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of hobos right now.
What, trying to jump on a train?
Yeah. Now you should just go with the stick and the handkerchief and just jump on a boxcar. That's how you should get there.
I'll do it.
That would be perfect. But no, everything's right in the world today, Dusty. Feel good. I'm not talking about the Oilers. I'm talking about Taylor Swift and Kelsey.
Did they get engaged?
They finally found love. I just
okay.
The kiss afterwards. I mean,
after that concert, running kiss, the run and jump,
the running kiss. She's changing lyrics in her song.
I know
for a good reason, not to boy bash. And hey, look, I mean, you look at some of her former boyfriends. They don't come close to Kelsey. I don't think she's. Like I say, sometimes you got to slay a few dragons to get to the princess.
Karma is a guy on the Chiefs, right? That's the line. Isn't that what she said?
Kermit is a guy on the Chiefs.
I watched a video yesterday on Twitter, I think, where they showed like the 14 times during the concert that she basically looked and just sang to him. You know, it's there's if this doesn't work out, Travis Kelce's gonna look like the like Swifties will make him the most hated man on the entire planet, dude. It's not even gonna be close.
Yeah, he already bought his big, huge $6 million house just outside of KC for a little more privacy. Because if anything happens, then you have the Swifties all over you.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Good. Chiefs would probably trade him.
Great when they're on your side. I can't even imagine if he breaks her heart. You know, it's like that dad. It's like, if you break my daughter's heart, I'll kill you. Except it's like 100 million crazy Swifties. That would not be.
Why isn't it reversed? Why are you all worried about Kelsey breaking her heart and her not breaking Kelsey's heart?
Well, because I don't care about Kelsey's heart. I can't. Yeah. Who's just a bunch of NFL fans are gonna be like, well, I guess we don't like Taylor Swift. Still.
Huss is hunting down Taylor Swift.
I don't see Huss. I don't see Huss coming too hard here for Taylor Swift. All right, Gage. Let's get to this. Let's get to this win last night. By the way, your shirt on the pre and post last night looked pretty slick. Tell me more about it.
Le Chateau.
Yeah, no, it's vintage. It's been tough for me fashion-wise, Dusty, with how I am draped and dripping in leather.
Yes,
and it hasn't really worked out. So the leather's gone back. I went with more of a silk shirt, chemise, as the French like to say, and tried that out. Still black with some blue highlights, and yeah, it worked out just fine. We might see that on another show.
I was gonna say, is that lucky shirt now? It's got to be.
Yeah, see that's the problem too, because you can't use all the magic out of it too. There's only so much mana in each shirt or each article of clothing. So I'll decide. I got some beauties in there, Dusty, that might get dusted off. So tune in.
What's on your shirt right now?
This is a Thrasher shirt.
Oh wow!
See,
like the magazine,
raiding the boys' closet
Thrasher,
now,
Oh yeah, I'm doing some ollies outside right after this and hitting the bull. No, I'm at a unique stage in my life with my son, who's just jacked right now. That we are the exact same size. So when I do the laundry and get everything, I might throw a couple of his shirts in there because they're a little bit cooler than mine. But he wears my stuff too, so it's great. So I've actually increased my wardrobe tenfold.
Yeah.
With, I've spent the money, but it's come back to me a little bit. So
is there a chain attached to your wallet right now?
Be
honest.
I took it off.
It was jingling too loudly.
Yeah, I can't do that. I like to be stealthy, Eric. I got to sneak up on people.
Did you ever have a chain attached to your wallet?
Maybe for like a day or something.
Okay,
I think everybody did.
I never did.
No, you didn't. Hey?
No, man, I was not cool.
Because some of them got built in. With the built-in chain, you could do that.
Yeah, no, Gager, did you wouldn't have. Not as a hockey player.
Oh, yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, my parents gave me you could call it a purse, because I went through a bad stage of losing my wallet, and I lost it. And I had it like attached to the belt. It was a Harley Davidson. It was a beautiful wallet. And I went to a Vancouver Voodoo game, and I took it off and put it on. Yeah, and I put it on a ledge for some reason and walked away. And someone's filled up their car with $78 worth of gas on my Visa. I remember that.
That's quite something, man. I never did it. I didn't even wear jeans that were cool enough to fit.
Well, what about the seatbelt belt? Now we're on the fashion. The seatbelt belt, right? The one that you just like rip, kind of tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You let it hang a bit, yeah.
I still have one of those.
Actually, I think I have one of those.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as cool as it used to be.
Those come with cargo shorts anyway, Dustin.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. That's what I have. Yeah, exactly.
Are those 6 o'clocker lagers there?
Yes, they are, buddy.
We got one for you here, yeah.
Show you here. We got a bunch of them.
Oh, man.
We haven't cracked one yet. We were going to have it at a meeting today, but we're not having our meeting today now, so they will remain untouched. Beautiful.
I might drink 6 of those at the Hangout on Thursday. This is great.
He might drink 6 of those at the Hangout on Thursday. Yeah, they look pretty sharp, man. Hey, speaking of looking pretty sharp, Stuart Skinner was pretty good last night. Gager, what was the biggest takeaway for you from last night's hockey game?
More confidence. Watching the game in Seattle, he looked a little bit nervous. But what I said on the award-winning show, pre and post game show with Tom Gazzola yesterday, I believe it's up for a digital Emmy, digital radio, sports radio Emmy. When you watch Skinner last night, his ability to take ice back was really good. Like movement off the puck, a lot of the saves he was making, he was starting in the crease, and then once the shot was coming, he was getting probably another foot and a half out to the top, and just taking everything away. You know, and I've talked about it before. I think when you get a lot of shots that are hitting you in the crest, you're doing something right because you're in really good position. The stretch that I thought made him the star of the game was the one shift after the goal, right? The go-ahead goal where the Islanders came right back, had about 3 or 4 really good chances, and he just shut the door. And what we've seen in this first segment of the year is after a goal with the Oilers, it's usually kind of that letdown, right? So he steadied the ship, kept it going. I was really impressed with Skinner. Definitely something to build on moving forward.
What about the team overall with a coaching change? I mean, the ice time was more evenly distributed. Quiet power play game, so there wasn't a lot of power play time. They were very efficient on the first one. Obviously, they had that short one for 3 seconds. It really didn't matter. So I'm sure in a power play game, you'd see more of the forwards over 20 minutes, Gager. But that was one thing that was a little bit noticeable. Anything else stand out for you with Coach K taking over?
I found it interesting that they dug a hole quick and didn't. Usually, we've seen is they've come back with the big guys trying to chase the game so quickly, right? We heard Connor McDavid talk about how I like Coach Garlic,
really, you like the name Garlic?
Well, look, it fits the situation so well, right? Like he comes, if you bite garlic, it's kind of a bad taste, and it was kind of a bad taste with this whole coaching thing in the start of the year. But what does garlic do? It's very good for you. So in the end, it kind of works out. So I think it's perfect. Anyway, I like Connor McDavid said that he's very calm, right? So, and that seemed to filter out throughout the whole lineup and through those first 2 periods. Okay, the second period was a bit of a snooze fest.
Yeah.
But their ability to stay within their game plan, not allowing too much, always being, you hear coaches say, above the puck, didn't let the Islanders get in any of those outnumbered situations, and were able to finally capitalize on a huge mistake by, I believe, Holmstrom with the
penalty
taking out Kulak's skates, right? So the discipline of the team is what's most encouraging, I think, from last night, being able to stay with it, and a team that kind of just likes to slow things down, grind it down, and hopefully squeak one out in the end. It was maybe not the game we wanted, but it was the game that the Oilers needed to have, another low-scoring game, to just have that swagger to know that they can play in these types of situations as well.
And who do you think, Joaquin, benefits most off that calmness? Who or what, I guess? I mean, you could maybe make a case. And Paul Coffey, I think we don't talk about. It's not like Coffey come in, Coffey helping the blue line, and much like a domino effect. I know you mentioned Skinner, but the blue line was of concern. So who do you think with this overall coaching change in both Noblock and Coffey, is there an individual you see kind of arising from this and really grabbing this thing and going with that calmness being preached and the patience and everything? We know what Connor and Leon and Hyman can do, and they'll do it and they'll get back to it. But who do you see either on the blue line or in that forward group who might benefit more from this coaching change and this style and this demeanor?
I think it'll affect the D a lot with the 6 guys back there. Of course, with Desharnais being a older young defenseman, just having that calm presence on the bench. We heard how Darnell Nurse was was really excited to have Paul Coffey. You're always going to see when there's a change of this magnitude that coaches really involved on the bench and talking and getting there's just little subtle adjustments. They want to get those lines of communication open. So you're probably going to see a lot more of that. I liked it. I like to see Paul almost in the little mini scrums talking to guys about plans and what he wants to see. And when you hear Paul Coffey talk, his voice is like silk, like it's a sound machine. It puts you to sleep a little bit, right? nice low baritone. I think just having a guy that's won multiple cups and a young coach who that's his baseline anyway, of being a calm presence on the bench, even in the way he speaks. You can hear it afterwards. It's very simple and straightforward. So especially at this time, with all the turbulence, how the start of the season's gone, I think that can help not only a young kind of defenseman, but everyone throughout the lineup.
Gage, what do you think last night does, or you can tie it into the coaching change as well, but what do you think last night does for McDavid and Draisaitl?
McDavid's struggling, man. Like that's funny. I mean, he had a good night and he's working really hard. I think, like I said I think that the Hyman goal, he was trying to bank it off.
He was 100% trying to bank it off Soroka.
He's trying to bank that
that's
off,
what
right?
he's thinking, right? Those guys make those types of plays. He was trying to bank it off of him. It worked out well because it went right to Hyman cleanly. And
it would have been a perfect play anyway because he's got the goalie's head turned and he doesn't know where he is, and there was a little bit of room there, right? That just goes to show you, he misses that. It goes to Hyman. They score. Even his goal, where it bounced around like a pinball before it went in. Some good bounces from good hard work. We talk about bounces, or that silly term puck luck, and you got to make your own puck luck. That's Connor McDavid having his own puck luck because of the hard work that he's putting in. And I really liked the tenacity in the offensive zone to a man. That was the key to me. In the third period, I don't think there might have been a handful of times where the Islanders came up the ice without being hounded or having to do something that they didn't want to do. So, I think it's good for both, getting off to Leon with the 4 points, having that bad kind of trying to do too much right off the hop, having that giving away, going back the other way and allowing the first goal. I think Leon's kind of hopefully got his game to be a little bit simpler, because look, that goal, games past, he probably would have tried to feed that across on the 2-on-1, right?
Yeah. You
knew right away he was shooting that puck, and that's the Leon that I like to see, the guy that's got a little bit of a mean on. I don't like the penalty, but Leon's the type of guy I think is a lot like Kane in that respect, where when he's at his best, he's kind of playing on that razor's edge, right? Where he's flirting with disaster, with being a little too aggressive. But I think when he has that mindset, he's very, very effective.
Joaquin Gage with us here on the show this morning, former Edmonton Oiler and, of course, local F1 expert. Is Vegas ready for Formula One, Gager?
I don't know. They're dropping ticket prices.
I saw that. Like, ticket prices are going down. Hotel room costs are coming down. I guess probably what really is a more reasonable rate, probably where they should have been set in the first place.
Yeah, if this was the way they started, it would have been full, right? So, but what's really interesting is there's a Netflix Open starting today, Dusty. If you'll just bear with me for 1 second, I believe it's a golf thing that's going to go ahead for Drive to Survive and Full Swing. So the two entities are combining. And you have Ricky Fowler playing with Lando Norris. Carlos Sainz is playing, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly. So,
oh, no way.
Yeah, so there's going to be a match scramble with these guys today. A team with the lowest score finishes the hole. So I'll keep you updated on
it. Yeah, you're going to be on this all day. I'm going to get text.
Yeah.
You would not believe how good a golfer Lando Norris is.
Pin cams.
Like, this is absolutely incredible. It is exciting. We're going to get a look at this track for the first time, right? Like, this is It'll be interesting to see if it's viewed as a success by the drivers. That's what I'm mostly curious about.
Yeah, they're talking about the track. They say it's very interesting. What I'm more fascinated, it's a track that's no one's ever been on yet, right? Of course, there's simulation runs, but usually what we've seen is there's certain drivers that just do better with certain types of tracks. Street circuit, obviously. So look for Checo to have another bounce back drive. He usually likes those street circuits, but under the lights too, Dusty. That's what's really going to be cool about this race in Vegas with the lights. I can't wait till practice on Friday.
Should be good. Gage, we'll talk to you on Two Guys and a Goalie later on today.
Can't wait.
All right, there you go. That's Joaquin Gage. He's all over Edmonton Sports Talk. He's on the Hangout every Thursday. He's with us on Two Guys and a Goalie. He pops by our show once a week. He is on the pre and post rather regularly as well. And yeah, he's great. Big F1 guy too.
And wallet chain guy.
And wallet chain guy.
It makes a lot of sense. I could see him rocking that in Kitsilano there.
Yeah. Nobody really even in our group were wallet chain guys.
Not one?
Not one. Not in one in like high school. Now I we were kind of jocks.
Oh.
We didn't really carry our wallets on a chain. I mean,
you were beating those kids up,
yeah. Take your skateboard,
give me your chain, you
break it over your head, you silly chain wallet guy. My parents would not have allowed me to have a chain wallet anyway. My parents were pretty strict on what I could and could not do, basically, until I was like 35.
No Simpsons, no chain wallets.
Yes.
That was the rules in your house.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons.
And look at the
I had to sneak over to my buddy Jordan's place to watch The Simpsons
on CBC.
It's just, yeah. So, yeah, that would not have worked very well.
When are we getting some Pit Stop Pals content?
Man,
because
Pit Stop Pals
Pitwell Nasty has been on this for...
Pit Stop Pals has been a victim of just so much going on here in the CFL. But we're actually, I mean, it'll be back strong. We're working on some sponsorships for next year and stuff with the Pit Stop Pals. Gage and I might be able to mix in a few episodes here at the end of the and we have a lot of fun with it. You know what the biggest issue is I brought all my equipment from home into here. So I don't have like the great setup at home anymore to just sort of hop on and do it. So I need to get one of these little machines at home, and then that'll be easy to set things up again. But I do love talking about that. Mr. Lean, were you going to get in there?
I was going to say maybe actually a way to do it. It's a lot, but Thursdays after Two Guys, you guys could maybe jump in and record something.
Yeah, that would be like a preview. We usually like to break down the event.
Well,
right?
Sorry for trying to come
No,
up with an idea for you.
No,
That's cool. I'll shut my mic up now.
I appreciate that. I was just being honest in the conversation. Surveyor Brett says he wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons either. Yeah. You were allowed to watch Simpsons as a young child?
Well, we eventually strong-armed our folks to, we're going to watch this show.
What was so bad about The Simpsons that we couldn't watch it as a kid?
Well, there was at that time of, they'd say some words or there'd be some... and
like,
look,
don't have a cow, man? Like,
well, eat my shorts, stuff like that. I mean, it was seen as crude. Like, I mean, in 2023, that doesn't carry at all. But as Maddie always makes a point, too, South Park was coming out then, and it showed really late at night, and it was a cartoon. Yeah. So your parents would be like, oh, Simpsons bad. But then you'd be like, I'm stamped to watch this other cartoon that they know nothing about. And it was way more crude, 10 times more crude than The Simpsons, and we're all watching it.
I was actually just talking to my folks about this. Like
They never knew.
They also didn't know that I was watching like Futurama.
No idea.
Is Futurama filthy?
Well, it's not clean.
I've never watched Futurama.
Like it's the creator of...
Is that the alien guy?
Yeah, it's the creator of South Park. Yeah. Or Simpsons, I should say. It's the guy that goes into the future. Even Family Guy, no one really knew anything about Family Guy. There was just a little baby with a football head type thing.
Family Guy.
So it's very easy to watch those, and no one would know. Like, parents wouldn't know. But Simpsons was, I don't know, it was just...
Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Because Bart was like a skateboarding, graffiti tagging bad boy.
Strangling of Bart, maybe. I don't know.
At that
like
time,
there
it was seen as pretty out there.
Homer was drinking a lot, maybe. It was just known. That was the one that kind of, it just had the thing around.
We've come a long way.
When it's... No, there was a lot of other shows that we watched that probably should never have been allowed to watch.
Yeah, like I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons, but then like 4 years later when my parents were in bed, I was watching South Park.
Well, in this point, too, in the Nasty Chat, Degrassi Junior High, I mean, that taught us a lot about like real life lessons.
Degrassi was great.
I didn't really watch a lot of Degrassi.
Very vivid moments.
Degrassi was
vivid
awesome.
moments.
You're talking not the Drake Degrassi.
No, the old school Degrassi.
What was it?
Degrassi
Spike?
Junior High.
No.
Degrassi really got it.
Zit remedy?
Watching the little bit Degrassi that I did watch, I got really nervous for high school.
The older
You know,
Degrassi,
like, yeah,
not the Drake.
The original Degrassi, yeah.
I guess the timelines would match up.
Belineski says, geez, I'm questioning my parents letting me watch Eddie Murphy's Delirious when I was 5. That would have raised things a little bit differently.
Spency 5 cents, he does bring a good point, saying there were a lot of jokes in Simpsons kids would never get.
But that's the best type of comedy.
But that's so I can see how parents maybe have seen it and go, oh, they can't watch this, not really fully going. Like the kids, it's going over the kid's head.
And neither of you have seen Arrested Development, correct?
No.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of Arrested
bit?
A little bit of Arrested Development.
Talk about jokes, though.
Yeah, but jokes that kids should be
every
allowed.
word. Well, yeah, there's jokes around every joke. A joke is a joke of a joke. Somebody says the Itchy and Scratchy cartoons. Maybe that was the.
I'm still a little torn on Arrested Development.
Just keep on.
Yeah,
keep on keeping on.
Isn't it coming back,
Well,
or is it Curb?
You don't need to come back.
I think I really think
I
Arrested.
thought Curb's getting another season.
That too. Just stick to.
I don't think they're bringing back Arrested Development. I think I would have heard about that on Smartless. That's 2 of the guys, right?
It turns 20.
What's that?
Last week it turned 20.
Arrested Development?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Jeez.
All right, we got an interesting sound of the day coming up. And it's funny. Somebody says, has anyone noticed the melody in the new 6 O'Clocker song is the same as the Hey 6 O'Clockers Check In, Get Conch, which is why Jonty made this for us.
This is all homemade, correct? I think did he text out the whole instructions on it?
He
Like
texted me.
He did, right? Yeah.
He emailed. Let's see here. We're gonna get to the sound of the day coming up here in the wrap, but
because that was a lot of chew through earlier.
Yeah,
it was kind of.
It said here, he sent this whole thing. So the intro, inspired by the Game of Thrones and the Conch, with a melodic nod to Mary J's Family Affair. So that's all in there if you listen close enough. Plus, there's a lead trombone. And then the build-up from 12 seconds to 24 seconds, trombones and trumpets lead. A hockey organ backs up brass, and the crowd sings along. Okay. Then you get into the verse. Dusty and Lieutenant Eric chat, hey, 6 O'Clockers, check in, get conched. And then, it's we're going to have to play this a few more times. But he lays the entire thing out. But we'll have to listen right off the top. He says in the first 10 seconds, it's inspired by Game of Thrones and the Conch, with a melodic nod to Mary J's Family Affair. So we'll have to listen to that. This is quite the scene, man. This is interesting. So we'll dial that up for sound of the day. Let's get into the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, get it done today at William Huff. Visit them at williamhuff.com. They have been making your business look spectacular in a number of different fashions all the way since 1972. Can you imagine going out in 1972 and being like, I think you should wrap this wall at your place of work? They'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like some Mad Men thing. People are smoking cigarettes being like, let us wrap this for you.
I like that rap music.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all they're thinking about there. I do like the Mad Men. Yeah, that's nice.
That's kind of what I imagine.
Like
in this,
they're all in there, drinking vodka.
Because what was the Mad Men in the 60s?
Yeah, something like that.
60s?
50s, 60s.
Everybody's smoking the cigarettes and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. What'd you learn on the show today, buddy?
The Carolina Hurricanes, aka Hartford Whalers, are bringing back Cooperalls. I think that was kind of getting out on the internet last night, but it's official this morning.
That does look really nice.
And the CFL in Randy Ambrosie's State of the League this morning, saying that the league is going back to the traditional schedule of playing everybody at least once, home and home. You probably get a little more.
I've heard a lot of people be bitching about this around the league.
That it wasn't happening.
So it's
yeah. I think
so
this is a welcome.
Nice.
Yeah. So back to that.
You don't like it, Matty? That was a really long sigh.
Here's the issue I have.
Why do you hate it?
I didn't even see it.
Because I also think long-term, also looking at 10 teams, it's an 18-game schedule. If you have 10 teams, you play everyone twice. You never play teams more than twice. And I do like I like seeing the Stamps or the Riders or the Lions 3 times a year or something.
Divisionally.
Right? Like
because now what's going to happen is you're going to play 2 teams 3 times. Right? So
and you're lowering the amount of divisional games you have. I will say this. If this is the way you go, then you have to do away with divisions and let's just get a regular season standing 1 through 9. But if we're going to have divisions, let's put an emphasis on divisional games. And yes, that means you're not going to see every team every year at your home. Does it really matter?
So you don't like the news today at all?
Well, I'm not. It's not I don't like it. It's just I'm okay with sticking with what is. Am I upset that who didn't come to town this year?
Yeah.
Who didn't come to town this year?
Hamilton, Ottawa came.
Ottawa?
Montreal. Montreal was here.
Did they all come to town?
Toronto? Maybe not.
Last year, Toronto didn't come to town, I think.
There must have been somebody who didn't come here this year. I mean, that's
Ottawa that maybe didn't come.
I don't
think Ottawa. No, they beat Ottawa.
Yeah. No, they beat Ottawa.
Hamilton, Montreal late, and they played Toronto. They didn't go to Montreal this year. So maybe that's how it worked. You really think Montreal fans are upset that they didn't see the Edmonton Elks roll through town?
Like, it does get a bit more pop when they do come back to that market.
And
you're like, oh, a team
and I look long term, when you get to 10 teams, that's 9 opponents that you're going to have to face. Times 2 is 18. It's an 18-game schedule. So what, Edmonton and Calgary are only going to meet Labor Days? Labor Day and Labor Day rematch? You never
and
see...
probably,
you never have...
You could get them one more time.
Not when there's 10 teams.
Oh, not when there's 10 teams.
So... What, and same with Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, they're only going to meet Labor Day rematch,
for that
and
as
we're
well, though.
never going to have them meet again in the course of a season before or after.
But you do dress up those rivalry games then as a big deal, right? That would be a weekend.
I guess, but
all the teams from the East came here this year.
So, but the Edmonton then didn't go to Montreal this year. That was
that's right.
And did they go to Toronto? No. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
but it's just I like the development of rivalries and stuff, and I think playing teams more helps build that. And as long as we're going to have divisions, let's have that. Otherwise, let's do away with divisions. Let's go 1 through 9. Let's take the top 2 teams. They get buys, take wild cards the rest of the way, and dump West East.
I want seeding for that, but I want positioned and maybe scheduled and everything. I like the divisional.
Well, we learned that on the show today. We learned that they're going to go back to a balanced schedule. Maddie doesn't like it. All right, we also learned that we have a new song that's been sent in by John T. and Victoria. It's called the 6 O'Clocker Check-In song, and it's going to be your sound of the day today. And let's take a listen to this. Apparently, there's a lot going on
The whole
here.
thing.
Let's take a listen again. Wait, I got to get right back to the beginning. Hand. There we go. O'clockers check-in, get caught.
It's the 6 o'clocker check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not staticky AM radio. It's not staticky AM radio, that was good.
It's the Coolbet Red Hot Nielson Show.
You know what?
It's like the
That
Schmengi
brass
brothers.
actually is. It's like, hey, 6 o'clockers checking.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Right? Like, I hear that now.
Disco Schmengi.
Bring this back. Right here. Hey, 6 o'clockers checking, get conched. That's like, this is a big day. Surveyor Brett, put it in the phone.
Is that John T. and Victoria, though, singing the parts? Like,
Yes.
does he do
I
the
think he
vocals?
does all the- I think he
that
does
is
all
a
the
mystery
vocals.
to me. Yeah.
This is a one-man show.
I'm loving it.
This is a one-man show. Put it in the phone, Surveyor Brett. We have to remember this day. Jonathan Daddario Slimchuk says this is the greatest thing I have ever heard. It's an opus. It really is.
Yes,
It really is. So this is the Game of Thrones part, yes, with a conch mixed in. And it just hits. I'm getting goosebumps.
It's the 6 o'clocker check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's not staticky AM radio. It's the Coolbet Red Hot Nielson Show.
Daddy likes.
I can't imagine the hilarity. Him in his basement alone doing this.
I know.
And how many takes it took to kind of. You can tell he's trying not to laugh in that opening.
God, that is a full jaunty joint, I think is what they say. Buddy, that was absolutely amazing. It is going to be a big part of the new show here moving forward for sure. And
It
look,
really fits.
If you're a musician, you create music, you got band, you want to tie something into the show, have at her, man. I'm not going to say no. We're definitely going to give it a run. We're going to take something for a run, unless it's you, Menopause Nick. Just kidding, Nick. All right, let's see. Let's get to your text of the day today. Boy, I can't remember who.
Huh?
What's going on?
No, we're just talking.
You always just like the little thing happens and you have to.
Well,
Look, there's a bird here. Oh, look, what's over there?
Wait a second. What's going on?
It's an inside joke between the two of us. Don't worry.
It
has nothing to do with the show. Has nothing
or the show.
It's just
he said something to me and I responded.
And he sent something to
it's
me.
Just behind the scenes. We don't need to. Yeah.
We could fill you in after the show.
Yes, we will.
Ooh, I can't wait.
It's not that important. It's not that
really
exciting.
No, you're gonna it's
gonna
let down.
It is going like you're gonna be like, that's it.
Why do you have to communicate during the show then? Because you know what distracts me. I mean, you can't tell me right now?
No, we can't.
I'm just gonna sit like this for the remainder of the shows.
I'll look
Eric,
like
what do you think of this?
Don't worry, I'm
I don't
done
know,
here
see, what do
soon.
you think?
I'm done here soon. So
Yeah, that's.
What do you mean you're done here soon?
Yeah, he's done.
tomorrow, Trev's gonna be in this seat, and I'm gonna sit at the reception desk.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna be in the
What?
room.
Yeah, but then if you really want to chime in on something, you're just going to start yelling out loud out there. I'm
No, I
going
won't.
to refer to Knoblauch as Coach K all morning. I guarantee you'll bust in here.
I think you'll have to be more worried about, am I gonna fall asleep out there?
Hey, Matt.
What the hell is that about?
You're too easy.
Hey, by the way, thanks to people who are saying they're subscribing because they enjoy the show.
Good.
I like the idea of like YouTube finding us. You know, there's always like the AM Nasty crowd, but like new people on YouTube who don't even like know what 1260 was, finding us and being like, "What the hell is going on here?"
200 likes. 201 likes.
No, that's good, but I think we're out like we're over 5,700.
We're over
subs.
5,700. We ended the month of
go.
October on Halloween. We got up to the 6,000 or the 5,000 mark, I should say, and now we're at 5,710.
It's quick. It's picking
So
up.
we're by the end of November, because we have half a month to go, over half a month.
Yeah.
We will be over 6,000.
We'll be over
I would
6,000, I
assume.
think.
Yeah, I think by the end of the year, to say we could be close to about 7,500 subs when this started on.
That'd be kind of cool.
You know, September. We were first on the air September 6th. That's pretty nice.
All right, let's get to your text of the day today for A and W. Where do we go for text of the day for A and W?
I mean, we had nicknames. Any of the Coach K suggestions would suffice.
I want to find whoever texted in the Lloyd Braun thing, man. Like, that was. I don't know if I can find that on the search engine. No, I can't. That was a really good one. I like this one. This isn't going to text of the day, I don't think. But my wife was watching right now, and she said, "These are the guys you listen to?" And,
take it, A&W.
That's who you're married to? You know what? Let's do it.
Send me
Let's send
That's who you
this
listen to.
angry wife
Yeah.
to A&W this morning. That'll be your text of the day. My wife is watching right now and said, "These are the guys you listen to?" Ha 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 ha.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah. Now H.E. Pennypacker can say, "Yes, they are." And you're going to A&W.
As you're going down on a couple matzo
Get her
burgers,
a
eh?
classic mama. Spency 5 cents. He says, "I wasn't a TSN listener, but I'm subscribed on YouTube now. Great show, you all." Well, isn't that nice?
Okay.
That's what a way to wrap up.
I really like the true noobs, like no 1260
yeah, like
history
no
at all.
idea.
Like they're just in fresh.
That really gets me.
New
really
baby.
gets me excited. Really gets me excited.
Get on a knee for that one, hey? Like you kind of have to drop down.
Oh, it's too good. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. What are we watching tonight? Bunch of games in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, full slate. You got the NBA in-season tournament, Mr. Lean. Having a lean on that. Right?
What do you think about the Lakers quickly, Matty? What do you think happens tonight? They're 5-point favorites, too, against the Grizz. And the Grizz, I think, are like dead last in the West right now.
Oh, they better win. It's just that. It's just that simple.
Just get the dub.
I don't know. It's early too.
That's what I said last week.
I know.
Yeah.
But still, I don't want them. I don't want them going down a stretch at the end of the year where they're having to fight to get into the top, six. I want them just to be comfortable in the top six so they don't have to do the play-in, and we just know we're getting ready for playoffs.
Before we wrap, Migalicious, who's in it, says, morning drives aren't the same anymore, but I'm glad I found the YouTube stream. Migalicious. Just get the free TuneIn app, and the drives will be exactly the same.
And it won't be exactly the same. It'll be better.
It'll be better.
Static-free. It'll be more clear.
And it's static-free, and it's uninterrupted. You get 3 hours on TuneIn while you're driving. You could actually just take a job in Calgary and listen to the show every morning when you leave Edmonton.
Hold up.
And it would not be an issue. What's your issue? What do you do?
No, I don't want you to end right away.
What's going on here?
1.3K favorites on TuneIn. 1.3. Let's get that one going up too.
It gets me fired up. It really does. Hangout is coming up next. That's going to do it for Matty Iwanek, Lieutenant Eric. I'm Dustin Nielson. Congratulations to Coach K on his first win with the Edmonton Oilers. You should have seen Matty's face when I stuck that in.
You're no longer a Duke fan. You've lost your card. You've lost your card.
He's kicking me out.
You're not a Dookie.
I can't go to Cameron anymore. That would suck. All right, tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. Stick around. The Hangout's coming up right away. More Oilers talk, obviously, on the Hangout today. Stick around for that. Lock Shop coming up. 2 guys and a goalie. All live content here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Tell your friends about it. Have a great day and take it easy.